Smite community on YouTube, when I put the chat on there, they hate it. They complain about it the whole time.
Monster, have you prepared for judgment unworthy?
These lands are ash and blood.
Wait, didn't we watch this like a month ago?
In destruction,
Yeah, this is the same one from a month ago.
beauty. In pain, there is healing. And in darkness, there is hope.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful Smite update show. I'm Titan Dandy. Nice to see y'all again, and we're looking forward to talking about update 10.4, the Lightweaver. Super excited to have y'all, and super excited to be joined by two people that y'all know and love, Aggro and Lermy. Welcome to the show, y'all.
What up?
Y'all
Super
are-
excited to be here.
Excellent. I mean, of course you are. You got a G.I. show off today, along with a lot of other things. We have a new crossover event with G.I. Joe. We have Balance. We have all kinds of things to get into, and I mean, I think the best way to get into it is just to kick it right off. How about
Hello, Double.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
rock and roll? Well, the first thing we want to talk about is something that y'all we talked about last update, and we're excited to kind of bring it back. The HUD, the brand new HUD, is coming back, but there are some changes this time. Y'all want to dive into that?
Yeah, I think obviously we were very excited to see that a lot of people did really like a lot of aspects of the HUD,
Yeah,
but
I like
had
that a lot.
our bumps along the way, so to speak. So obviously going through a lot of different
they're leaving the
improvements for
old HUD
and
up.
hearing that feedback was very, very valuable for us,
course.
and we're very excited to be reintroducing it here in the 10.4 update. But you also are getting
Console
a
will
little bit more
default to the old
choice,
HUD.
involved with
love
this
choice.
HUD. So now you can choose a toggle between the new and the old HUD in the settings.
I'm fine with that.
PC players will default to the newer HUD,
Yeah.
and console players will default to the older HUD. So if you're a console player and you want that newer HUD update with all of its flexibility and all that kind of stuff, you can opt into that, but you aren't going to be forced into it, just so that you can ease your way kind of into using it as you get more and more comfortable.
Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly. There's a lot of really good features in the new HUD, and we understand that, everyone wants to play the game as comfortably as possible, but we just want to make sure that everyone can have, the experience that they want to have.
Yeah, I agree. And as we re-release this, obviously y'all were there for the first time. Like we mentioned, there were some things that we had to work through. But we did that because of y'all's feedback, and I think I speak for all of us when I say, again, we're looking for that feedback. As we re-release, we're going to be continuing to look for ways we can improve this new HUD system and make the game truly an experience that you can love and enjoy. So
Exactly.
continue to provide that amazing feedback. Thank you for what you already provided, and I'm looking forward to using the new HUD again. I really like this.
Oh, me
So-
too.
Yeah,
for
definitely
sure.
had some setups cooking that I'm
Oh,
excited
yeah.
to get back to.
The
for
map
sure.
right in the middle of the screen was perfect, map awareness was always on point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
saw
that's a great idea.
some really crazy HUDs that I'd love to see it in practice. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Same. Gotta see those pro HUDs at you. So, all right, well, super cool. So from there, we're gonna dive into another exciting new thing. How about a G.I. Joe crossover event, huh?
Ooh.
Let's
Super awesome.
let's take a look at that.
Oh, not this, dude. This is a terrible. I'm gonna go grab my food while they do this.
And welcome back from that. Super exciting. Absolutely love it. Incredible, incredible, incredible. And I mean, it's G.I. Joe. It's a classic.
Yeah, absolutely iconic name. We've got a lot of really awesome crossovers in Smite, and getting a lot more of these iconic IPs to work with
Yeah,
our game.
another
has been
Susano
really, really
skin, another
exciting.
Neath skin.
I mean, G.I. Joe has been around for so long and has such
Yeah.
a great storied history and so many really awesome characters. And to
Who
get a
even
chance to
cares
watch
about
all
G.I.
these
Joe
has been
anymore?
Really, really cool.
Yeah, let me tell you, as someone who, had not known all that much about G.I. Joe before, when I told my dad that I got the chance to work on this, dude, he was so excited. I couldn't believe it. I had
Your
definitely seen
dad
some of the
doesn't
films
buy
before,
Smite
but,
skins though.
You know, I have learned to have a new appreciation for G.I. Joe and all of its, you know.
I'm trying to understand that. Like,
Yeah,
who the
and
fuck
again, an
cares?
absolute classic. Well, much like
She
you,
literally
I
just
was
said she
somebody
didn't
that
care at all.
I knew of it,
But
but
her
I
dad
knew
did.
the basics. You know, I was only a basic fan.
She's a
but
dev.
Being able to talk to people who, I mean, I've seen pictures of people who have whole
Yeah.
collections in their basement
Oh,
from the
yeah.
company.
Dude,
like
our
with all
super
of our-
fans.
Yeah, with all of our
Yep.
crossovers,
Crazy.
we have super fans, and it's really cool seeing that energy come
I could
out,
care less
you
about
know.
G.I. Joe.
Something that I think is really cool at Hi-Res is we'll pull inspiration from any. It doesn't matter where you work. If you're not a skin designer, like they're gonna be like, hey, you know this a lot. Come talk to us. Let's work together on this. And
Yeah.
seeing super fans come out of the company and be like, hey, I know everything about that. Always really cool to me.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Anyway, so let's start looking at. We're gonna do some card art. Gonna go some in game for
Ooh,
some. but
I'm
let's
excited for this.
Let's start
Yeah.
off with Baroness Neath.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolute slam dunk. Like the G.I. Joe characters just had so many great options, but I mean, come on, Baroness Neath is just like
Slam dunk.
it works perfectly.
It does. Absolute slam dunk. Also, I can't get over the nostalgia warning on the label there.
Yeah.
That is so good.
So many fun little details just all across this crossover. And like you were talking about, you couldn't get over the details. I'm looking at that weapon there, that Cobra. Insane.
wait, why are we doing
I mean,
skins?
that's probably my favorite part about this skin, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And also, like, this goes without saying, but with every crossover, it's really cool to see two logos next to each other, and you know, Hi-Res being a logo I'm familiar with, right next to Hasbro.
Yep.
It's absolutely incredible to see. Like it gives me chills to know I was able to work on something like this. So super excited for this. Next on the list, we have Snake Eyes Susanoo.
Yeah, I mean, this is when you think of G.I. Joe and like some of the coolest characters and the ones that everybody had the action figures of and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Snake Eyes definitely near the top of that list. I mean,
He's that guy.
he's built different. Like, let's be real.
Completely built different, and like the way that the armor looks, it's just absolutely incredible design.
Because the view count dropped last time when they got the skins.
Nice
It's
time
so
to wake
cool.
up.
Like the effects and all that kind of stuff. The effects team, as always, putting in a ton of work, but in particular for these G.I. Joe skins, I think people are going to be really excited.
And like you said, with in-game, there are certain
First
things
of all,
that
who are
we
you?
really appreciate in-game. So let's dive in with Snake Eyes Susanoo and get a look at it.
Ooh, so excited for this one. Look at him.
Sneak in, being all ninja-like.
That's
Arms
what he
like
do.
Oh, look at the red slashes, dude. Even the basic attacks look sick.
Yep.
That's so awesome. And one of the things that you'll notice here about Snake Eyes is that he famously doesn't speak.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
Very-
So
very-
a lot of these nonverbals we had to get a little bit creative with, make sure that, you know, you can still tell that you're playing against Susanoo, but Snake Eyes Susanoo specifically.
Yeah, the vow of silence rings true in character creation, which is an interesting challenge for sure, but I'm proud of our team's work in doing that.
Yeah, that was when you're going to write some voice packs and it's like, okay, oh, nice, I get to do Snake Eyes. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
what do I do for Snake Eyes? You know, that was a fun challenge for us.
Yeah, you'll see a little bit later. We had a very fun creative solution with this one where he's actually talking to Scarlet, another one of our skins over the intercom, although he's not really talking. It's more so Scarlet
Yeah.
talking to him and relaying all the information that he's got to know for the Joe squad to really get in there.
That's really cool. Yeah, I can imagine for writing for this, it's exaggerated grunts, like you know, just stuff like that.
No grunts.
No grunts either,
Right,
yeah.
that's not
no
being
noise.
silent.
No noise at all.
Wow.
Yep.
Absolutely, we're breaking new ground here in the game design. That's
For sure.
Absolutely crazy. Well, super cool. Excited to see this one. Next up, let's go down to the Cobras and check out Cobra Commander Hu Yi.
Where's
Now
your shut up?
this like pair of
Yeah.
the Hu Yi skins are probably some of the coolest Hu Yi skins in the game, just because he's not using a bow.
Nope.
He's got a gun.
Yeah.
Who gave Hu Yi a gun? Who decided that was a
Hu
good
Yi
idea?
gun.
The Cobra Commander
True.
did. Yeah,
And
Cobra
a
Commander. did.
nefarious ploy.
Yes, another classic Cobra move here by the Cobra Commander. I mean, again, when you think of G.I. Joe and its iconic characters, like Cobra Commander, I mean, is just obviously at the forefront of everybody's mind, and I think it turned out really, really well with Ho Yi.
I agree, and it's just the costume design too. Being able to
Oh, yeah.
see these famous costumes, see these nostalgic looks brought into Smite, always gives me chills. And again, I
Yeah,
can
what-
never get over
what does
looking
G.I.
at
Joe
these,
even
and
do right
I
now
wanna
that's
get a game
relevant?
for this one too. So
Oh, do
let's
we?
check it out in game.
Yo, look at him.
Look at that like partial cape, or what do you call that? Is that
He's
Yeah, I don't know
a
what
little
that's
cape.
a little cape?
Little cape.
Little cape.
Oh,
Little
there you
guy.
go. Just a little cape. That's it.
This
Yeah,
has got to be
whenever-
one of their
whenever we get to these
worst
skins to
selling
really push the,
collabs they ever do, right?
The changes to the god, you know, I think that that's something that a lot of players get really excited for. And
Maybe,
there'll
Jordan,
be a lot
maybe.
of players who love the feeling of this type of basic attack from a Hou Yi skin as opposed to some of his other skins. And
Yeah.
I think that getting to, you know, we
What
do
about
these
him, Cyclone?
frequently because they are
Fraudulent?
a lot more
Wait,
difficult
what? What are they doing?
and a lot of art challenges and all that kind of stuff. But when we get the opportunity to do
Actually,
them,
don't
the
spoil
team
it. I'll wait and
always,
see.
really delivers, I think, and it feels really, really fun.
Yeah, this one certainly does deliver.
I,
love it.
I certainly couldn't agree more. This looks really good, and I'm super excited to play against it, and just in general see it in game.
Animations
I
are
love
decent
it.
on that. The skin kind of looks like shit,
Too,
but
He's
right?
so stylish too.
It's so cool.
Look at him go.
I like the animations.
Cobra Command. It's got that flair, like the
Oh, yeah.
dramatics. So
Oh yeah.
awesome. Well, next up,
The nerfs aren't nerf I expect. Oh no.
Oh, this one's so fun. I am a big Scarlet fan. I think she is just like the perfect, like kind of go-getter boss lady, and she really loves to get it done. She's a no-nonsense kind of individual, and she really fits the niche style well. I think she has a lot of acrobatics. She was trained.
The last
to
G.I.
kind of
Joe
be
thing I remember is
like
when
that,
Channing Tatum was in it.
really talented fighter. Although she also
the
has the
movies.
brains to go behind it as well. She
it.
is, one of the more intelligence people.
And I'm
I forget
31,
what they're
so
called.
like,
But she does a lot of
might not be the
reporting to
oldest,
Snake Eyes when he's out and about.
I'm not super
but
young.
She's not afraid to get her hands dirty.
and
as
this
well,
has no
so.
relevance.
yeah, I would say from what research I did as well, like not only is that all true, but I also learned that one, she is like so important that she has secret duties that not even the Joes know about. So like that's how crazy like in the work she is. She has stuff that even the Joes are like, listen, we don't know what she's got the secret missions.
You just trust her. She's
But
gonna get it done.
also, and Joe fans, correct me violently, I'm sure you will if I'm wrong. Pretty sure that she's a Georgia like she was born in Georgia. So
Ooh.
as somebody who is
Represent.
born and raised like right up there. So gotta love somebody who represents. Let's go in game.
Yes, look at her and her very.
All these
fancy
look the same.
crossbow that shoots out bolts of energy. Love it.
Yeah,
That
it's
is a
future
fancy crossbow for sure. You don't see those everywhere. Oh, the Joe logo
That's so
there.
cool.
That
Joe
is
logo.
that is so awesome. Love those little details, in the targeters and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Always
but-
makes me regret playing on instant cast. For some of these
that's
abilities,
true.
you know?
You do
And you
lose
can
a bit of that.
check out
but
the weave as well. Her passive has a fancy little bit in
Oh,
there, but
that's
this is a
That's
really
so
sick
cool.
ultimate. Wow. I actually didn't. I'm kind of an insta shooter.
Yeah.
Because people always tell me, "Hey, I need ethal," and I'm like, "Okay, it's coming," and then they're like, "Where is it?" It has to come across the map.
What,
you
you're
know?
not just sitting in it all the time? That's
No.
That's how mine.
I didn't pull an Emilito, to be
Ah,
honest.
Yes. Yeah, you gotta just sit there and
yeah,
and
all you have
charge
to do
the
is
ult.
all you have to do is get ult and then sit in base. You're done at that point.
Yep.
You're just
Remember that during patch
So-
That's all
notes.
you have to do when you play Neath.
Exactly. That's how I do it. That's nobody's ever complained. All right. Well, cool. So next up, let's check out. How about we do Storm Shadow, Susano? Let's do that one.
This is another favorite of mine. Storm Shadow is a really interesting character
Bro.
because he has this kind of
It feels like Hi-Res
what's the
can only get the
internal
C-list
conflict going on
celebrities to
between
come to their
him
event.
and Snake Eyes, where they
With these collabs
train
they do.
together. So they're
like
like
these aren't even
you know,
C-list. These
friends,
are like
they want to look out for each
like-
other, but because
very
of
low.
certain actions that happened in Storm
That
Shadow's
could've been
past,
Wolverine.
he got to be in Cobra, and so they have to fight against each other now. And Storm Shadow's not the happiest about that, but he will be loyal to Cobra for a while.
Yeah, that's super cool to see. And again, you love good writing like that.
I mean, Avatar was good, but I'm talking about more of like these really common ones they keep doing.
There are stakes for him. He has to do it.
Exactly.
So always makes for incredible.
Like I feel like
writing.
Transformers is pretty lower tier nowadays. Like you're fully living off nostalgia if you're saying Transformers is
One more card
massive.
art to look at that I'm super excited to show y'all, and that's Duke Hou Yi.
Even like the Nickelodeon
Dude,
ones they
really,
got,
really
the
excited
Rocco's
to
Modern
have
Life
him
and
in
shit,
the lineup. I mean, definitely
and a lower tier.
A big character throughout the G.I. Joe franchise and part of some pretty iconic moments there. And kind of like what Lermy was saying with Scarlet, where, on the surface it seems like, oh, it's just, is he just default army
Exactly,
guy? And
Double
it's
J.
like, no, he's got a lot of really interesting background and story, and
Yeah.
he's master of many languages and really, really intelligent, as well as being a great leader and soldier. So really, really cool character here, and I think that just like Cobra Commander Duke Hoyi looks so cool. Like very unique feel in a really awesome way.
Yeah, and one you'll definitely have to see in game. We're not showing you that. We got to leave some surprise for y'all.
Yeah.
So another cool thing about him, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but these are just the facts I remember. The jump school he graduated at the top of his class from, also in Georgia.
Also in Georgia.
I just know
You
the
remember
Georgia
that one as
facts.
well?
So I would be so this is going to be an event coming. I kind of got so excited I skipped over the event talk. So you've seen similar events in the past. Y'all know how we do our events. We've got a lot of cool content, so we'll have those 6 skins that you just saw, as well as 2 really cool cosmetic packs you can get. So, and I would also be, I feel terrible if I didn't shout out an absolute legend, and Yannick Paquette, who did a lot of the art for this stuff. Helped work on this, and absolutely incredible, like comic legend Yannick is. So Wonder Woman, one World, I believe. Like I'm excited, so I'm forgetting the names. I wrote everything down, but you know how it is. But Swamp Thing, like an incredible bunch of work. Won the Schuster Award for Outstanding Artist. Like absolute legend in comic book history, and did work for this. So absolutely huge shout out, absolutely incredible work. And we're really excited for all of y'all to get your hands on this event.
That's cool. They actually had somebody
Just
come in and help
something that a
them
lot of
do the
people put a lot
skins,
of
though.
passion into, as we tend to do. So, because we just love doing things for y'all and love getting to work with all of these incredible IPs.
100%.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about that, it's time to get into the into the business. Let's talk about some balance changes, shall we?
A little nitty gritty time.
A little nitty gritty time. All right. So we got the pros here, and we're gonna start off talking with some blue buff change. So. Dive in. What happened to blue buff?
Lermy, you want blue buff?
Oh boy. All right. So we heard you, solo laners. We heard you. Since the change into year 10, we had to remove a little aspect of blue buff previously to incorporate the silver buff, and so we understand that has been the feedback that we want blue buff to do something else other than give you mana. So we got you, solo laners. We got you. Now, when you pick up the blue buff, enemy lane minions hit by your damaging abilities will now take an additional 5 true damage. But that's not all.
Where did this come
Enemy
from?
jungle bosses hit by your damaging abilities will take an additional 3%.
It doesn't buff solo at all.
True damage. And then, of course, you got the subsequent hits.
This just makes you guys clear faster, so you can start smacking each other in the dick more.
Doing a billion damage to fire giants and whatever. So, but yeah, blue buff does something fun now. You do extra damage.
Yeah, I really wanted to, like Lermy said, losing that CDR component, lost a little bit of interest in blue buff, particularly as the game went on. But it's hard to put really game-changing effects on a buff because they aren't guaranteed.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so if your buff gets invaded, if you're losing gold and experience, which you always are, but then you're losing a very critical actual laning component.
Enemy jungle bosses hit by your damaging abilities? Enemy jungle bosses?
A good spot to start it where it's impactful.
What are enemy jungle bosses?
We might see different types of solo laners start to rise because they.
That's not fire giant shit, right? Is that like the enemy's blue buff?
Risk involved in that because you might get your blue buff invaded.
Yeah.
And then of course the enemy jungle bosses, so that it scales throughout the game and is still relevant.
That's something that I think is really exciting because previously blue buff kind of has never really scaled to that kind of level where it is so important in the late game.
Yeah.
So you could be seeing a lot more invades onto blue even into the late game, which I think is incredibly exciting with this change.
Especially with it being right next to fire giant, I think we could
Bro,
definitely see some
auto attack.
Incredible.
Solos could just shred through pyro in like a half a second.
Not to be overshadowed by the next spicy change we're going to talk about.
Why did I tell you to take blue? I should have taken blue. So
all right, mid laner, tell us what's up.
All right, well, we have game-wide percentage pin changes. Let's get into that.
Yes, let's get into that. So, we've heard a lot of the talk about the state of the game and how fast people are dying. Obviously something that we're always keeping
Bro, they added pen to every item in the Mage tree, and now they're nerfing the cap.
The community is saying, and we feel it in the same way that they are.
How do you even get 32%?
We really think is a good step in the right direction. We're interested in hearing.
Where the fuck did 32 come from?
Get your hands on it at PTS, and once it goes live, if this is giving you the desired feeling that everyone is looking for, but percent pen.
Remember, we tested this last night.
Ubiquitously available.
The difference between 20% pen and 30% pen is so much damage
that it is more accessible than it used to be. Where before,
so basically, tanks are going to be like even micro tanks are going to be tanky as fuck now.
Yeah, that's it.
That created a lot of power spike issues and power curve issues. We think that by decreasing the overall cap from 40% to 32%, and then taking all of these 20% items and shifting them down to 16%. And all the 10%
They're nerfing all the pen items?
to 8%. So it's everything's moving down.
Oh, we're
but
gonna
it's
go back to
still
a
the
tank
same
meta, and I'm not gonna want to play this game
value.
anymore.
2 of the old 20% items will get you to the cap, just like they would have before.
Yeah.
And they're
If
still
they make
interacting
tanks
all the
OP,
same
I'm
ways,
literally
but
not
just
gonna want to play
removing
Smite.
some of this
It's gonna fucking piss me off.
Should address 2 things. Number 1,
Okay.
late game death times. You know how fast people are dying, burst damage in the later stages of the game.
Got it.
Against every
Tanks are
character.
not useless
Because
right now. It's
there
a
are lot of
complete
players that need to
overreaction.
Give a lot of protections. Base protections are fairly
Right now,
high.
hunters and mages are OP,
This
not
percent pen change will
tanks
matter
needing
even
like
against
buffs.
what
This
you
is
said,
a
Chris.
indirect
Yeah.
buff to
But
tanks.
we've also heard a lot of feedback from tank players that they aren't feeling impactful enough.
Okay.
Once we get to the late game stages, their early game is feeling pretty strong, but once they get to late game, you know, you buy your spectral, which we'll talk about, you buy your other things, and they're still feeling like they take too much damage. We think that by reducing this pen cap, we can have them.
Hayden, if you use my link for Corsair, that's all you gotta do, brother. Thank you.
without
A year.
adding damage.
Also
to their
not a
kits,
fan of
because
this
that's
blue
something
buff
that,
change.
you know, we've talked a lot
All right.
about.
I'm not pissed yet,
I
but
think that
I'm disappointed.
overall, we are pretty happy with.
We'll
the
see how this
threat
plays out
that
on the PTS.
Frontliners impose on backline. You know how threatening via damage warriors and guardians are. We don't think that there is a huge issue.
I cannot believe the cap.
right now. It's certainly never perfect. But,
So, with
we don't
32%
think that's
pen on
going
a
to be
full
system
tank,
that we need to
you
really
can
dive
only
deep in at this exact
remove
moment.
90
How can we
protections.
make them feel
100
more
protections.
effectively tanky?
So no matter
without
what, they're going to be
making
at
them too tanky,
220
really, all that
prots,
kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
of
we're
course.
very
which is
interested to
like
see
a
how everyone
reduction
feels about
of
this,
60 to 70% of your damage. They're going to take
change across the game.
30 to 40% damage
but
from you.
In testing, I think it's felt really, really good.
Yeah.
And and slowed down that late game burst by a noticeable amount.
Yeah, and we tried it in a bunch of different roles because
Yes.
we tend to
This
move
is
all
whack,
around
bro.
the map when we're
Oh, yeah.
playtesting, making sure that we're hitting every single role, and so
It's gonna be so easy to be a tank again.
And like you said,
Good to
not so
hear.
much impacting the damage from squishies to squishies.
This should
or tank
instantly
to
make
squishies.
hybrid
It's more
jungles
so
stronger.
That squishy to tank ratio, making sure the tanks are feeling impactful.
Because
not
you
by
won't be
the
able to get
damage,
one shot
but
by
the-
hunters anymore if you go
even in
tank.
those squishy versus squishy
And you won't be
engagements, the
getting one
burst
shot by
damage
mages if you go
is
hybrid
definitely
tank.
noticeably
Yes.
affected
Okay.
by this type of change. So
For sure.
that's something we're also keeping an eye on, and you'll see some other changes towards that type of idea. But
Yeah.
we hear what the community is saying about late game burst damage against frontline and against backline, and we think that we've got a couple of really good plans in the pipeline in order to address that.
Yeah, and that sounds great. As a support player, for one thing, that sounds incredible because, I like being able to get in there and have these sustained engagements where
Right.
I agree. As a tank, I shouldn't be bursting down the back line, but being able to get in there and utilize my kit to either peel or to keep somebody still
I hope this
so that my
in
damage
practice
and teammates
actually is
can do
better
what they need
than
to.
on paper,
Sounds
because on
great. And
paper this
even
is not a
on
good
those
change.
rare occasions that I play somebody squishy and damage dealy, having a little more time to
I don't
survive
think
so
they
that you
process
can
that the
do
issue is
a
warriors
little
are
more skill
and guardians are
expected,
simple
it's
to
not just,
play.
I missed my
So
jump,
they
I
shouldn't
dodged
compete
ability, I'm out.
with
I
gods
did
that
a little
are
more
not
time
simple to
express
play.
my skill or develop
But
that
this is
skill,
gonna
I
make
guess.
it so they're simple to
Sounds
fucking
super
play
good to
again.
me.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited and
There's just a couple more points to this. So a couple of
Yeah.
those exception items that aren't really the 20%, 10%, 5%.
Yeah.
Being Executioner in glyphs is seeing a decrease in its protection reduction. That includes Heavy Executioner also going down by a similar amount. Demonic Grip is also seeing that. And then we have a couple of shifts actually for Soul Eater and Atalantis.
You're not
going
going
to
to be able to kill an Achilles, by the way, with this too. Achilles will be unkillable. Achilles is going to be max prots at all times at late game, and you're not going to be able to kill him.
Cap us off real nice.
He's going to take no damage.
There we go.
Achilles should be the best god in the game now with clear as well from blue buff.
Rated Edge, Obsidian Shard, Karen's Coin, Typhon's Fang, Dominance, like all
Achilles
of those
might
are 20 to
be the
16,
best god in the fucking
and
game.
I mean, absolutely crazy the number of items there. And then the 10 to 8, like you said, the Crusher, Hydra's Lament, Heartseeker, Silver Branch, Fail Not, Demon Blade. Like so many items getting affected by this. It's a huge change, but
Are
you
they
know, like you
stacking
said, I
flat
think
pen on
there's
a bunch
gonna
of
be a
items
really
or
good
something? Are we gonna have to go
direction,
full
and,
flat pen
obviously,
builds?
I know how much y'all test. I always see y'all in there.
Bro,
doing tests,
we
so
just got
it's hard
Smite
to
Source
see
pretty much
that. It's hard to
updated,
see
and now these
if you get your
motherfuckers are
hands
gonna
on
ruin
it
my
and let
life.
us know what you think, especially in PTS early on.
What do they
and
do
then
to
as
Achilles?
time
Nothing
goes
to
by.
Achilles.
But,
It's
course.
the
Really
fact that
cool.
they're
So is there anything
Achilles
else we need
2
to
gives
get
them
into
protections.
for,
Achilles has 400 protections with his 2 proc.
penetration, or
No,
you
I
I think that
think
covers
that's
us on
I think
pen.
that's
400
it.
of
So we're gonna
each.
put 10. I'm going to put it over here. And
And
now I
then
move
some.
on.
to this box,
To tanks.
kind of on the opposite side, yeah, to tanks. So let's talk about the tanks.
All right, so again, tanks have kind of been in an interesting spot, right? We want to make sure that they're feeling impacted.
gonna
throughout
buff
all
tanks
parts of the
too?
game. So the
Yeah.
first
Yep.
part is specifically towards our soul laners, and I suppose our supports. If you really are feeling like picking up Tainted Steel, So one thing is that, especially with the change to healing in the Season of Hope, we wanted to make sure that our anti-healing options are still feeling pretty okay.
Yeah.
And so we actually are changing this up just a little bit to increase the healing reduction on this from 15 to 20. And then you also get additional sustain from this item, going from healing 100%
I'm okay with this.
you anti-healed to 120%.
This isn't like core
of that
stats. This is
anti-healing.
anti-heal
So
stats, which
you're
I'm
gonna be
fine with.
healing, you're not only are you anti-healing more, but
This is
you're
fine.
also healing more from that. So
This is
it's a pretty
completely fine. This is
solid,
good.
bump up to the sustain of that item,
That
where
is.
you might actually start feeling it now.
Yeah, with healing going down, stealing that healing doesn't feel quite as impactful because
Exactly.
the healing went down. So bringing that back up a little bit, I think, makes sense.
So you'll be feeling the stealing of the healing even more.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Got it. Super excited for that. I have a buddy who busts this item out every time we play Omnipotence, and he doesn't
It's worth
die
it.
ever.
Yeah, it does work.
So, all right, well, let's keep going down the tank line. Blessed Scepter, good old buff.
Yeah, this is the tier 1 of the new physical healer.
That's the
item.
best tier 1 item in the
This is
game.
a little bit too expensive.
And they reduced the
for what it was
cost.
giving you. It was 700. It restricted your soul lane start options a little bit
Yeah.
more than we would like.
Wait,
so
what?
That's just getting decreased.
It's
by
literally the
50
best
gold,
tier 1 item in
but
the game.
the
It's
tier
the
2s
only
are
tier
all
1
the
item with
ones
multiple
that are
stats.
to compensate for that, and that is very specifically for level 1
Yeah, the
in
early
Conquest.
game.
Yeah.
starting
Yeah, so in the jungle
solo
now we can
with
start with
your
an extra
solo
pot,
starters,
by the way.
and making sure that that feels like you can actually get the correct amount of potions and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Exactly.
That's
Alright,
a
so
weird
yeah,
change,
a little
like
bit of a fire
no
sale
reason.
first off, but they're
If they'd
making
removed the
up for it.
stats and done that, that'd have been
Super
fine.
cool. Tainted Amulet also having a bit of a change.
Walking this back a little bit
Walking
to
this
to our
back.
other talk from Tainted Steel.
That's
This is just
true.
the upgrade,
Yep.
just
Yeah,
making it
we
the
just
same.
kinda jumped
Yep.
through it a little bit. So
Not
yeah,
buying a
cool
ward,
stuff
fuck
to
you.
that. So Round Shield also getting a little stronger.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
Round
no,
Shield
no,
again,
no,
kind of
no,
like Blessed
no.
Scepter wasn't quite giving you enough, but instead of cost, we decided to just increase the stats a little bit on Round Shield.
Why?
Those stats were not exactly wowing.
Yeah, a little bit of a polish just to get the shield back to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
At least it's
Little
just tier
more
1
power
items,
for
right?
And then
Just
Glad
tier 1s.
Shield kind of following the shield line.
Yeah, similar along those same lines. Glad Shield, is an item that has a storied history.
What are you doing?
To say the least. The
item is fine. It is still good.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
This is necessarily one of those times.
This is so
and we
fucking
didn't want to
stupid.
increase its offensive capabilities.
Why won't they leave this fucking item alone?
Very clearly monitoring and all that kind of stuff. So just wanted to give it a little
Bro,
bit
it's
more
like
cost
there's a million
efficiency,
items for them to look
by
at,
dropping its
and then they
cost,
just start
increasing
jerking
its
off to the
health,
Glad
making
Shield
it a
every
little bit
fucking
more
time they look at all the items.
efficient for those gods
Yeah,
that
a
want to
little
buy
more
it.
bang for your buck.
Yep.
Super cool. So continuing the tank line, Archdruid's Fury also getting a buff.
And this was an item that we saw a lot in PTS.
It showed up.
A lot
It showed up.
in the first patch of the year. We did do a couple of changes to it in the past that, decreased its effectiveness by what I would argue is quite a lot. Scientific term.
Yeah.
Yeah,
take.
it's
So
cool.
we're doing a little bit extra adjustment to it to give it a little bit of its potency back. We're not trying to make it, as crazy as it was when we initially
We're not
released
trying
it.
to make everyone have the worst day at their job or anything like that.
No.
Hello.
But we are trying to make it a
Hello,
little bit better
everybody.
to increase, its chances of being picked up. So what we're doing for it is decreasing its cost because it was a little bit prohibitively expensive, and we're giving it just a little bit more passive damage in that component where you take damage and then you deal some back.
Again, as magical damage, not as
Yes.
Yeah,
Not changing the damage.
Hi.
That's
No,
that's
yeah,
staying.
still
Tell 'em.
still the
Magic.
magical
Hello, everybody.
damage.
Yeah,
Magic.
waving.
Yes.
So
Yes, hello,
we'll truly
everybody.
deal more magical damage.
Yep.
Don't quote
Yep.
me on that.
Oh
All right, well,
boy.
cool. That kind of we're taking boxes, putting tanks over to the side. Now this box is just very, very individualized, very specific. Bloodforge getting a bit of a nerf.
Yeah, Bloodforge was kind of this for fun item for
Yeah.
a long time, and then it messed around and got a bunch of buffs,
And then it found
it still
out.
didn't see play, and then it got a bunch more buffs, and then we ended up where Bloodforge is one of, if not the most popular item in
Yeah.
the game right now.
Oh, they nerfed
we're just gonna
Bloodforge?
decrease this physical power a little
Okay,
bit. It's still
bro.
an item that we're looking at. A lot of this.
why are they doing
work
this?
For a patch goes in, and then there's a bunch of community discussion
blah,
afterwards.
blah.
and it's
Yeah.
like, we
Tell
wish
them
we
to
could do
stop
that
nerfing the
this
wrong
very
stuff.
second, but might have to wait
Yeah,
until
gotta give it a
Stop
minute.
bonus in
buffing
the next
warriors.
patch or however it works. But Bloodforge, for now, decreasing the cost, going to keep a close eye on it, and make sure that it's still not an outlier after this.
Got it. That sounds good. Yeah, you gotta love.
was
when
10 power they
something
nerfed
kinda
it by,
gets
right?
shadowed- Not even
From
shadow
75 to
patch, just people
65.
Like, we don't care. And then finally somebody picks it up and they're like, "This is incredible."
Yes,
So,
that happens a lot.
yeah, it
It
definitely does.
You'd be
Yes.
surprised.
So well,
Gods
cool,
especially.
Cool. Yeah, right. Cool. So let's move on. Hocus Pocus into Mage Land.
Yeah.
Starting with Book of Thoth getting a little bit of a nerf, actually.
Yeah, so we've been loving the build diversity.
They're
that we're
nerfing
seeing
Book of Thoth
over in
again?
Mage
It's already
Land,
not
as we were
built.
talking about.
Mage Land.
However, when looking at the popularity of certain items, it seems like not all the builds have caught on. And there's still one that seems to be rising above the rest in terms of its popularity, and that is the library build, or buying every single item in the book tree. So our number one offender seems to be Book of Thoth here, which is one of the most, like you said it earlier, popular items in the game to buy as a mage.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we are taking back the mana. So we're not actually directly decreasing any of its power, but we are going to say, hey, you're not getting as much free mana for simply buying and stacking this item anymore. If you want to get that synergy, you're going to have to buy even more mana than you were before, or you're just, if you're buying the same build, it's going to be a little bit less effective overall.
Right.
But that also goes for the upgrade as well into Evolved Book of Thoth.
Furious about these
decreasing
changes.
that from 1,000 mana to
you're furious.
775
Tell the mic.
overall. Depending on that.
Hey, this isn't cool.
Yeah, well, cool. I mean, bye-bye library build. Well, not really bye-bye, but
Not
like
cool,
definitely tone it
dude.
down a little bit because people
Mage,
hit their books, man. Smite, the game of readers. So next up, Tablet of Destiny is getting a little bit of a nerf as well, looks like.
Yeah, it's similar.
Why are they
again,
nerfing
like
these
what we said,
items
we
again?
know
I'm
that
so
there's a lot of
confused.
diversity in mage builds right
Where are
now.
these
but
nerfs
this
coming
was a
from?
build that we still felt
No
like,
one's building
especially
these
at the
items.
Casual level, we were seeing a little bit more.
They're
than we
specifically
wanted to.
nerfing like Baba
Its
Yaga
power level
and
was a bit
Kulkin.
higher than we wanted it to be. So just a small damage decrease on
What else?
tablet, also fixing an issue.
What else do you think about these
where it wasn't
changes?
dealing
Oh,
quite the
you're that
correct
mad?
amount of damage.
Yeah.
A couple small bugs there.
Yeah, just a few small
Little
tweaks.
tweaks.
What else?
Shouldn't be super noticeable, I don't think, but now it is working the
else?
way that we intended it to work. But now dealing
All right, let go.
point
Let go. Thank you.
1% of your
Answer phone.
mana per stack.
Got it.
And not 0.12.
Excellent. Now, that is the last of the items, but before we move on, very important for both of y'all to answer this
There's
question.
fish. It's on.
Is a tablet just an old-fashioned book?
Bite left, do you want it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah, we literally were like, what is an old sounding book when we were naming that.
Yeah,
item.
that
love
actually
it.
is a Babylonian item. So it's the first Babylonian item in
Come over here.
which is very cool.
All right.
I was just asking as a joke, and we got a lore drop. All right,
There you
I'll
go.
keep trying for that. All right, so we're moving into gods now, and this one's gotten a lot of chatter, especially since
Really?
the last update. Yeah, you'd
Are
be
you sure?
surprised to hear.
I don't think I've heard anything about
I
this.
know,
No,
y'all-
they're
goddess.
going
don't
to think
use-
you're serious. They're going to think you're
y'all don't use
serious.
Twitter, I understand, but Aphrodite getting a few nerfs.
Oh,
coming out of this
already,
crazy
bro?
healing patch.
Holy
What's going on with
shit.
Yeah,
Aphrodite?
a few.
No
might be
crit
an
nerfs.
understatement.
No
Yes.
crit
I was trying to ease
nerfs.
them into it, but all right,
Yeah.
more than a few.
So Aphrodite, had seen quite a lot of buffs to kind of get her ready for the
No
season of Hope,
crit
being
nerfs,
decreased, because
dude.
She's one of those characters that really heavily relies
Yeah,
on
she
healing.
brought the heals.
But it turns out that when you buff Aphrodite in a bunch of ways, that she becomes the #1 most winningest god in every single game mode in the game. So that was something.
Cool experiment. We figured out.
So
Someone's
anyway,
got to be number one.
Yeah.
it was Afro, and she was the leading lady a little bit. So she had to take the spotlight for a
True.
second, but we're making sure that she's not staying in the spotlight because
Yes.
we hear you guys. We
Yeah,
understand
she's
that
going
it can be
crazy.
a little bit frustrating. So let's actually talk about what's getting changed.
Let's get into
First
it.
things first, Kiss. This might have been the feedback that we heard the most. Is
Oh,
that
the
it's
pet
just
is the
giving
pet
too
nerf,
many
but the pet
protections.
isn't gonna
So
nerf
it's
just
going
crit,
down by
right? That's just an
5% over
all-around nerf
soulmate.
in the game.
Additionally, she's also giving less movement speed. So not only are you the soulmate less tanky, but you also will be moving.
The thing
less
with the
quickly,
pen
which is,
changes, that's
not
basically
as
making
much for the soulmate,
everyone
but good for
tankier. You have
everybody
to understand
else.
that.
Yes.
Like, they could have said
Love
we're
versus
increasing
Frost getting
everyone's
increased
protections
cooldown
by
by 2 seconds from
8%.
14 to 16,
and it would have the
and we're
same
also decreasing that CDR that you and allies
interaction.
are getting from 0.25 a tick to 0.2. And also the heal's going down because we also were looking at the healing of each individual healer that they were giving out. On Afro actually was doing a slight amount more than she used to by average. So we're taking that down just a smidge to make sure that she is still obeying the laws that we have set on
Yeah,
healing.
the laws of not being the most incredible healer ever. So
Exactly.
which, I mean, you can still do it. I believe in y'all being the most incredible healer ever. You just have to work.
Yeah,
for
that's
it a
the
little
thing
more
is
now.
like they nerfed Afro, but they nerfed Pen.
Cool. So, yeah,
So
those are some big nerfs. Looking forward
did
to
she
that.
really get nerfed,
You
or is
next
she
on
just
the
brought down to the same level
Guan
she
Yu,
currently is?
Again, taking a look at a lot of these healers
Yeah.
that were heavily affected by the changes with the Season of Hope launch. Guan Yu, when looking at healing numbers in particular, and how his win rate changed from pre-healing overhaul to post-healing overhaul. Guan's was one of the few heals in the game that already functioned in the way that we changed every other heal to work, where it
Yeah.
didn't scale off of power anyway. It only was just per
Guan
level.
Yu's healing isn't the problem with that
so
ability. It's the
with
fucking cooldown it
Everyone else
gives
kinda being
is the
brought
problem with
to
that
his
ability.
healing level, the buff that he got,
The
and the new
utility from
healing
that
items,
god is so
he was
crazy.
just ever so slightly overperforming, and we felt like this made sense to fit the overall messaging that we want to go for, which is we want everyone to be healing less, which he was, but not by quite enough.
Got it. Well, that makes sense. Excellent, excellent. Continuing down the path, Chernunos also getting a nerf.
This is another wonderful piece of feedback that we heard from the community is we're
right.
tired of seeing Chernunos and Ishtar every game. And you know what? I'm only a little bit offended by that. But that's okay. That's okay. We're listening. So first up for Chernunos. We had a lot of debates on what the best nerf for Chernunos would be because he's one of those characters that, like Ishtar, has really solid clear.
Yeah.
And is really just good at clearing waves, clearing the jungle. That first wave pressure that he keeps is pretty good, and he scales very well into the late game. But the place where he landed was that Shifter of Seasons, specifically Autumn Decay, is now only going to reduce physical protections because reducing both is, it's quite a bit of utility. When we looked at a lot of the other hunters in the class that also had this same style of protection reduction, it was only for physical characters and not for magical as well. So we thought that, okay, I mean, that's a good solid way for him to really only affect his damage and the other physical characters on his team and not so much benefit those other characters.
Yeah.
But additionally, that's not all. We've also just decreased that protection reduction by a very solid amount.
Especially early.
Yeah, early game.
Max rank, it's more or less the same. one protection is basically not noticeable. But this is also something that we heard from pro players where CERN has been really, really popular for a long time now.
Yeah.
That they felt like this was a big contributing factor. So hopefully this opens up a little bit more pick variety in the SPL in particular.
Excellent. Well, you love to see it or hate to see it if you main CERN, but next up, I'm sorry, we got an Ishtar nerf. It's kind
I
of
feel like CERN's problem is he's really easy to kill.
Yes,
so what's
exactly.
going on with
Like his
Ishtar?
kid is fine for
Ishtar,
aggression, but that's
is
it.
another character that has really great clear. She does,
If they don't nerf all 3 parts of the one, they're trolling.
Izanami, which, wow, that's quite a jump to go from Izanami to Ishtar. But still, we want to make sure that feedback is heard. So we are adjusting Strike Shot, which is the
just
first
the 1/1.
ability's first form.
Just the volley
circle
for clear.
lob shot.
Yeah.
The bonus damage is going down at rank 1. And it's scaling back up only ever so slightly above where it was before. So you're doing 1
Wait,
extra
it's a
damage
better
per
late
basic
game?
at rank 5, which a lot of people are not ranking this ability first, but you're doing 3 less at rank 1, where you're probably going to keep it for a lot of that early game where the clear is mattering. And that adds up when you're talking about the number of times that you're hitting over the wave. That 3 damage per minion as well, that's going to add up.
Yeah, it definitely stacks up. It's one of those things where
Early clear is definitely going to get impacted by that.
Like,
There's no doubt about that.
Number, but yeah, no, it builds up. You get
the numbers are surprisingly small looking, but they're big effectiveness having.
It's
speak very well.
It's like aiming a camera at something far away. Like you do a little bitty turn and it's like a mile has moved.
Exactly.
So absolutely crazy. So let's move on. Now we got a buff to talk about. Shock getting a little more muscular, huh?
What?
Okay, so
He's
we
cooking.
talked about Afro and Guan and how we're taking a close look at them post Season of Hope launch, all that kind of stuff. We're also looking at the ones who are not the healers that were affected and are not performing to where we want them to.
Yeah.
And bringing some of those up. And Chalk is the first of that list. Chalk was a name that came up a lot in a lot of the Reddit threads and on Twitter. And
Because every shitter wants to play Chalk because you can't fuck Chalk up.
Yeah.
It's massive round abilities. That's why people like him. It shouldn't be
A
good.
very simple change and then a very spicy change. Not very spicy, I suppose. But
still.
Thunderstrike, this is the one. 10 more base damage at all ranks. We know that
Incredibly
things like this
complicated.
help warriors a lot more than
yeah.
you think they do. And we felt like there was room for his damage to go up just a tiny bit, but with such a confirmable and easily hittable
They
area.
want Chalk to bully the
we don't
lane
want to go too
again.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to insta-clear the lane with blue buff and a
we're
buff
doing
to his
something a
1
little
and his
fun with
2.
Rain Dance.
I love
So
Rain
Dance already slows in a big area and attack speed slows in a pretty
Yeah.
big area, and now it will also power reduce in a real big area.
Doesn't it slow attack speed and everything else too?
Now
Wait,
have their
hold on.
physical or magical power decreased by 10% while in the rainstorm.
He's
So
kind of got a catch-all now of not only am I really good
So
against basic
hunters are going to
also
like
really good
fucking
against
slap him. That's it.
very good
Those are
against
lazy.
teams that
They're going to slap
are
him.
immobile or want to stay grouped up. Chalk is going to do very well
Yeah.
against those teams.
Fly
Oh,
in,
yeah.
rain, ult. Chalk is gonna be in there.
I love playing
And
Chalk,
protection
I am
reductions?
unbelievably
I
excited.
Bro,
can't confirm
I am
from being on the other
predicting
side.
warriors and
Chalk
the
jungle,
easy
baby.
warriors like Chalk are going to be so unfun
Man,
to
yep,
play
sign me
against.
up.
Time to see Chalk
Tank Chalk?
everywhere.
No, thank you.
Honestly, I'm about to just start
Chalk,
banning
yes.
5 warriors.
Damage Chalk. Sign me up.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's continue down the buff line with Camazot's getting a little buff.
Yeah, so Camazotz, again, was another character that was very heavily affected by the Season of Hope changes because his whole kit is healing more or less.
Yeah, a little bit.
So we tried to find an interesting way to spice things up for Camazotz other than, give him healing or give him damage. But that is going to start off with our spicy change, which is Screech. So before, any god that you hit with Screech, if you caught that reflection, you're going to be able to see it.
Oh, what the
now,
fuck? The whole team?
So it's not just Camazotz seeing things. Everybody's going to be seeing things.
Team-wide vision.
And it is not for a short time.
It's 15 seconds.
Yeah, 15
It
seconds.
is for a long time.
That is for like this many, but like times 3. So
Yeah.
for
It's
those
a
of you
lot.
at home.
It's a lot.
Additionally, Vampire Bats, which is the 2, kind of hard to hit ability, but when you do hit it, we want to reward you for hitting that. So we're increasing the slow from 30% to 40%. And finally, Devour.
Why are they buffing
Camazotz
this
by 2
much?
seconds. It's going to give him a little bit more of that healing, a little bit more of that juke potential.
Yeah.
It's not the longest leap in the world, so people will use
All
it
right.
just to juke out things for the iframes.
Yeah.
Hybrid
So just
Camazotz
giving you
soul
more
lane
opportunity to do
returns.
things like that is going to be a really nice change for him.
Gotta love the chance for more skill expression.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
again, that's what it's all about for me. I love that kind of stuff. So excellent. Moving on to somebody else who's kind of revered for their healing prowess. Hel, but getting a bit of a buff.
Yeah, Hel buff here. I mean, Hel is one of those gods that, again, very dependent on her healing.
Yeah.
Not as strong as Afro, necessarily, with
No,
the
so we've
changes that
seen
she
recently.
received, but definitely a little bit closer. These buffs are meant to up her utility in terms
Bro,
of...
if a Hell and a Chalk both go on you with those abilities, you are running around with no fucking
12%
power,
again, it's only once you
bro.
reach max attunement, and
Yeah.
we've definitely seen a lot less players sitting in light stance for the majority of the time. So really,
Is there
just
an
hoping
item
to
anymore that
automate a
reduces
little
your
bit.
power?
Obviously, the top
Like,
end going
like
up.
was
quite
it
amount-
Runic
quite a
Shield
good
used to
amount
do
as
it
well,
and shit?
but
Is there an
we
item
don't
that does
still
it
see
still?
Players sitting in this stance a ton, and then decay and restoration getting a little bit more base damage, just because.
Imagine if there
Afro's
was.
been shifted to this more supportive style of kit. Hell staying a little bit more damage and mid style of kit.
Yeah.
Was lacking just a little bit of damage.
Base
from
damage.
that
All right,
damage
Mindy's coming back,
Yeah,
boys.
just
So-
the
Hell
slight
mate,
tune-up
Mindy's
to
coming
get it
back.
on track.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, I know Ishtar's not going to be a fan of this one. Gilgamesh getting a buff.
Man, that's like a double Easter.
Yeah,
I know,
double.
right?
Well, Gilgamesh, he's not been too happy for the past couple of patches. He's after his bit of a stint in the jungle, we haven't seen quite a lot of him, but we want to
Yeah.
encourage
I
him
feel like
to
Hell
be
is pretty
a
good
little
right
more of a
now.
laner, and this change might actually do quite a bit for that. So Sunforged Scimitar.
No, we don't want to deal with Gilgamesh, man.
give,
It's a
damage.
ski-
Now
just
that
think
damage is
about
going
the
to
abilities.
do
Chalk,
25%
Gilgamesh,
increased
fucking
damage
King
to
Arthur.
lane
These abilities are a
minions
joke.
on the
Yes.
initial
They're
pulse,
so
and that is not the
easy to
actual
hit and
auto
play
attack
around when you're
follow-up.
tanky.
It is just the initial burst that happens. That damage is up by 25% to lane minions only.
Got it. So kind of a good solo buff.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
not a
What
jungle
other
buff.
gods
Not a jungle
remove
buff.
power
Not a
from
jungle
people?
buff.
Like you have Hell,
Got
you
it.
have Chalk
Talking
now.
about buffs,
There's gotta be
Cthulhu
more people,
also
right?
getting a buff.
Yeah, Cthulhu probably not the first god that
Baron?
you would think gets heavily affected.
What happens
by
if you play a
healing with,
team of just
healing
people who
going
remove
down,
your power?
But that was a lot of his team fight utility.
Them
was
autos.
Getting into that ultimate and giving that big heal. With that going down, just went a little bit further than we wanted to in his stats.
Shit,
so
bro. I'm about to just run
increased the power
debuff comps.
reduction on Sever, which is the swipe when you're in the
Yeah,
ultimate.
the swing.
That protection reduction is going up. Again, we hit his utility by reducing his healing.
Yeah.
So giving him back some utility in a slightly different way.
Got it. Yeah, and that makes sense. You got to balance the scale a little bit.
Yep.
Excellent, excellent. Moving on, Charybdis also getting a bit of a buff, eh?
Yeah, this is just sort of we're transitioning a little bit from our.
Why don't they
healing-related
buff some of the
kits to
fun
just
to
general
play against
underperformers.
gods?
So Charybdis, one of those.
Like, Charybdis just runs away. It's like
for
it's
her.
like a
She's just
Jingwei.
sweet little lady, but
but
not doing
on
too
the
hot
ground.
on the battleground, as it turns out. So when it comes to what she actually needs, Spike Shot is going to be having a decreased cooldown.
Or one has
for
no
level it up.
cooldown now.
So if you're
What
maxing
the
this first,
fuck?
You're going to be getting it more often, which
That's
means
frustrating.
that this other change to increase the tide that you get from hitting splinters is going
Yeah.
to go up from 2% per hit to 3% per hit. So the more splinters you get, the more tide you're getting, the
little more
more
tide
times
build
that your Spike Shot's up, the more tide you're getting, you're going to be maintaining that passive a little bit more.
A good
A little bit more to also contribute to that second ability as well.
Yeah, good little rinse repeat.
Oh, yeah.
Charybdis is one of those characters that I've loved since they released because I love that triple auto attack thing
Yep.
going on.
So cool.
Except
So
for when
fun.
I don't ever land any of them, and I'm like, 3 whiffs in a row. I'm gonna go back to base. So, whew, all right. Well, continuing on, we got a Starcat to talk about.
We sure do.
We got some buffs on
This
the
is
way
fun.
to talk
This is
about.
The
really
next
fun.
two
The next two are a little.
fun. They're very fun. So the next two gods are similar in their nature in that they are gods that have historically had moments where they have been absolutely dominant.
Yeah.
But also historically very much struggled in the vast majority of players' hands. They're difficult to play. They require a lot.
Do they say? Are they going to simplify Circuit?
Build-wise in order to know how to succeed with them. And so we wanted to make these changes as a kind of a new direction for us. And we're excited to see what the community thinks.
Butcher Circuit, I'm going to fucking lose my mind.
Because I think they're really, really exciting. So Circuit in particular obviously has gone through a good amount of change. You know, had her little shift around last year, has not seen the success that we were really hoping for from that. We want to push her into a more clear identity. You know, and one of the very unique things in Circuit's kit is that she has an ability that can crit. Very few gods in the game have something like that.
That's true.
We want to facilitate her being a crit assassin.
Okay, yeah.
She
I like
is
where this is going. This is good.
That she needs to get some
talking.
payoff from that in order to really make that type of build work. But we know that giving free crit, specifically early game,
Never forget, I started crit
really,
Circuit.
really,
On the balls.
it can
We've seen it before.
dodgy pretty quickly. You know,
Yeah,
it
it
can get
can be
dodgy
dangerous.
pretty quickly. So we're going with something a little spicy here, which is whenever you put a point into your ultimate. So Last Breath is now going to have a passive component that is not tied to casting the ultimate. But for each point you have in your Last Breath, you gain some critical strike chance.
What the fuck?
This means that you won't have it at all pre-level 5.
Yeah.
You're not going to insta-clear your camp or anything
Okay.
like that.
So this is dope, but this doesn't
a lot of the
fix
early crit,
Circuit.
but then
Circuit's
also
going to have the
introduced a
same
way
problem.
that Crit is
Circuit's
less likely to happen
I can
at lower
crit build already works with Circuit. You get
percentages.
100%
It's
crit.
not a
It
true
doesn't matter.
10% if you want to read the dev blog that we did forever ago.
Yeah.
With Rage and Deathbringer, you're at 75, right? So now you're going to be overcapped on crit.
Good read.
We think that something like this will give her clear, defined power spikes
Yeah.
and allow her to not have to build a ton of crit.
Yeah.
In
Your
order
problem
for
is
her
you
to
still
crit.
die while standing
You
still.
want, if she's getting free crit and doesn't
Late
need to
game,
go
you
to
could just go
crit items,
Deathbringer though, and
that's
you're
always
at like
something we're gonna look at.
60%.
Yeah.
But if
So
this
you go
allows
one
you to
crit
just
item.
splash one Deathbringer, and then the rest can be, a Magi's, a Yogi.
Yeah, as I say, you can
these
fit a
items
Magi's
that
into this build
allow
now,
you to do what you want to do.
which will be
I
nice,
think
but that
would
you'll
be
still
really,
die.
really successful. So excited to see.
You're
what
never
players
able to go
think,
Magi's crit. Like, it's rare,
specifically
so
about these
that's actually
passive
interesting.
components that are kind of level gated.
This is going to require some
behind
testing,
being
boys.
Able to put points into your ultimate.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy, and like you said, a spicy change. Interested to see the build diversity that comes out.
They
of
should have
this
changed
and
the 3.
how
They should have
Circuit
reverted the
goes on,
3.
But
That
as
would have
any
been
Smite fan
spicy.
knows, you can't say Circuit without saying teleporting robot. So next up we have Jana.
Is that something that we say?
I made it up right now. Back
Fair
yeah,
enough.
please.
Yeah, fair enough, I suppose.
Well, we did talk about how they were similar, right? And how they fall into their similar, they take a lot of skill to really find success. And
That they
Giannis,
do.
that is.
I don't think that
Giannis' middle
Circuit
name,
change is
actually. Yes.
is
If you look it up
going
in the
to
dictionary,
really
it's
make
Circuit.
Circuit
Anyway.
better or
Takes a lot of
easier to
skill.
play.
Last name.
Same idea here for Giannis. Through space and time, the ultimate is receiving a similar passive effect where every point that you put into Giannis's ultimate, he's going to get percent magical penetration equal to 8 up to 16%. And that will
What?
also contribute towards the.
You just reduced the
You
cap.
basically will be having.
So Janice needs one pen
for
item.
free once you level up that ultimate all the way.
Yeah.
Giannis is just a character that is heavily stat dependent.
Oh yeah.
That character needs.
Bro, this is so weird. So Yanis is gonna go Doom Orb, and she's gonna go fucking, or he's gonna go fucking,
If you're getting 10% CDR on Giannis and losing a lot, that's
the other fucking
almost
item, bro.
certainly a big contributing
Yeah,
factor.
you know
like
why.
Staff of Mirrodin or something, and then be able to overcap, get CDR cap easy.
Cost,
Yeah.
that it really forces you to commit so much.
I feel
of
like that
your
just
build
opens
you're
up
gonna
going
miss
another
out on
flat
some
pen
other
item.
stats. And something else that Giannis is
Or Rod, yeah, or Rod.
is killing tanks.
Do more Rod.
Giannis has never, in his entire history, been a very
Been
good
a tank
killer.
shredder.
He
Got
doesn't do it very well. So we
built for that.
considered
Nah.
giving him CDR versus giving him pen, and CDR being a stat that you
This is weird.
desperately need.
Yeah.
It is so powerful.
Do
on
more
him.
Broad's gonna make up the
Felt
other
a little bit
16%.
riskier
Yeah.
than allowing him to be better. at this
Or
thing that
Janice is
he's
gonna go
never be
no,
really that
neither of
good
those
at.
items,
Even
and
with
Janice is
getting
gonna
another
go
16% pen item, he's not going to be nearly as good
Obsidian
at killing
Shard
tanks
for the
as,
initial burst on the tanks and
Poseidon,
overhit them
Scylla,
for more.
Nox,
Yeah.
Eset.
And gonna go into a
down the
hyper
list,
power cooldown
Every other
build.
mage is better at killing tanks than Giannis, even with this amount of pen. But it allows your build to be so much more flexible.
Yeah, for sure.
And requires
You
so
could
much
go
less that
Starter,
we hope this will
Chronos
allow
pendant.
Giannis players to find a little bit more success and remove some of that
And
tension.
then
That build tension is really good and really interesting.
I don't even know. Your early game's gonna
But
be
when there's
weird
no
trying to
correct
force this.
answer, when the tension is so great that you can't really fulfill your requirements, it doesn't end up feeling.
Because all the high power items have pen on it now.
Solution. So
It's
hopefully
weird.
this allows Giannis to find a build path that works for him, and still doesn't make him ubiquitously great.
I feel like you definitely want
Really saying
Obshard with this build.
He can't be the best mage in the game.
But not going Doom over Rod is so much power you lose.
But
There's no other high power items other than those two, right?
Yeah, I could definitely see it. And the change makes sense. You know, what is a magical resistant cloak to a guy who can walk through a wall? So hey,
Nothing.
penetration. There you go.
Yep.
So cool. And
That's
that actually
Soul
does
Gem
it
build again, probably,
for
into
Alice
Divine.
today. So thank you so much for tuning in for that part. That
That's
made it
it?
sound like the show is over. That's because I am basically dead on the inside. So super excited to continue moving through the show. We have plenty more to show y'all. Obviously, we haven't even seen the cool new god yet. And let's start off with seeing some of the skins that you can get ready for with the Lightweaver update.
Let's go.
More skin.
Asina, general of the Oni army.
I like the color pattern.
You will see no foul play.
This is a season of depression. This is not the season of hope.
Who might you
The
be?
fuck is that?
Another suitor attempting to garner my favor? Your soul belongs
The body on that's actually sick. I just don't like all the colors that they chose.
On her debut tour, Charybdis.
Buff Cryptis, give her a skin. Who else did they buff? Sircat? Sircat getting a skin?
There will be danger.
What the fuck
can
is that? It's Tony the fucking Tiger, bro.
You're not
They gave us Tony the Tiger with an eye patch. What the fuck?
Big one. Reel 'em in.
What the fuck? What is that? Bacon and beans, Baba Yaga? What the fuck?
Some more you fought. Your eggs are about to be scrambled.
Oh, that's sick. Oh, that's fucking sick. Of course they buffed Camazotz. That skin is sick. That's a must-buy fucking skin. That is a fucking the badass skin. That's one of the better skins I've seen in a long time from IRS. Yeah, that's dog shit. That's literal dog shit. I didn't know we were fucking watching Twilight. The fuck is this?
I may find a use for you.
It looks like the bad guy in Twilight. I forgot what it was, dude.
A lot of cool things to see there, huh? So many awesome skins coming
That
out. the
Camazotz
next
skin is
update.
dope as
And
fuck.
I just love these new videos we've been using. It's always so exciting to see. I love the new turnaround styles. So still have our two amazing guests here on the couch with me.
Baba
we've got
Yaga,
some cool
bacon and
stuff that we're gonna be able to
beans.
get into check out. Starting with
The
Oni
beans.
Adventurer Athena. So let's take a look at that one, shall we?
Okay,
I
show us the
love
good
this theme.
skins.
She
It's
is.
so cool.
It's
Okay, the
so
card art looks
The Oni
completely
theme is
different than the
so
in-game
great to
skin.
look at.
Yeah, and this card art, like, just the purple obviously standing out, but just so vibrant.
This looks completely different than what they just showed us.
Like 10 out of 10.
It's so dynamic, right?
Yeah,
It really
She's
is.
getting in there.
Yep. You know she just landed from Defender of Olympus.
that's
yeah.
true.
Right there.
But this
That
is
is
like
literally-
completely
That's the
different, right?
moment where she has arrived, for sure.
Well, let's check it out in game. How about it?
Absolutely.
Oh, there she is.
Oh,
Oh,
of course
that
you got to
looks
start
so
off
cool.
with
dude,
it.
the visuals for this skin are incredible. And not only that,
Oh.
but the sound effects as well are so fun.
Oh yeah, okay. The
portal.
colors and the
Okay,
the
clouds,
visuals
too.
in this are
Oh,
dope
so
as
pretty
fuck.
looking. But no, like the clouds on the
The
take.
visuals on this are so good.
Those
I don't even
blew
care
me
if the
away.
card art's
I
better.
don't know if
The
I'm
visuals in
supposed
this
to
are
say this on
awesome.
the patch note show, but this is her best skin.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this is insane.
this is
is
by far the
absolutely
best Athena
incredible.
skin.
It's so good. Like this color palette is just awesome. Like
Yeah.
the design. This is
This is a
absolutely
really good
beautiful.
Athena. This might be one of the patches where they actually kill it with skins for once.
maybe forever. I don't know if we could ever do better than this. This is insane.
Oh, that's a tall order for our team, but you know they're gonna take that
I
challenge.
know.
But
They're gonna take that person.
But yeah, this is absolutely incredible to look at.
All right,
And
now
part
go
of
on to the
Hope
next skin.
Reborn event,
Cut
so
and
for
go,
those of
cut and
y'all
go.
who, clicked
Cut
the
and go.
magic
Stop
buy all
talking, cut and
button,
go.
Gonna be yours. as soon
Speed
as
it
the
up.
patch
This is
drops.
how
If
you
you
keep
didn't,
people
don't
interested.
worry.
You cut and go off of this.
Your
We
hands
already
on it.
want this skin, so show us the next one where we're still happy.
But that's not all. We have another Hope Reborn skin that I really want to show.
Show us Tony
off.
the Tiger.
That's I'm so excited for this one. Meowie Maui.
Yeah. So when immediately I got a bunch
good.
of tweets, like I saw, someone.
This is a recolored Tony the Tiger, and they put an eye patch on
Really,
it.
we're gonna do. I don't know if we're ever gonna do Meowie Maui. And then literally like that week in Slack, they were like, "We're doing Meowie Maui," like, and I was like, it was because of this tweet, and they were like, "Oh, we just had that same idea. That's so crazy." I will admit, I was a little bit of a doubter just based on the name alone. My doubts have been silenced.
But
This
he's like
skin,
a swashbuckling
yes.
sea tiger captain. Like
Right?
he looks sick.
No, he gets in there. Like
Oh,
this
yeah.
card art is sick.
It's Tony's
The
cousin.
vibe that he has.
I wanna
is
see the
sick.
abilities 'cause this could be cool.
Everything about it, like it's not cute, cuddly Maui, which
Yeah.
is like, would be fine. Like
Yeah,
you know,
it
there's
would
a
work.
place
No,
for that,
but-
but like he
but-
only has one skin. You kind of want those early skins to like set a tone. This is the tone that I want.
He's still kind of cute though.
Oh,
I'm
for
sure
We
he
need to
likes
learn the
You can't get away
timings for this. It should
Yeah,
be.
I
They
mean,
should
you
be
know he's
showing
right.
us the skins already.
Also,
you give him scratches and behind the ears, like he's happy.
you have to know that that's an incredibly brave and daring cat because it is a pirate cat. The
You can
cat
keep people
water
so much more
dynamic
interested
there
in these skins
totally
and hyped
blown
about
out
them
of
if they
water
didn't do
one day.
this.
Yeah.
If they just
So-
went into the game and then
Ooh.
quickly showed us and then
I
cut to the
know.
next
I
one.
couldn't help but say it. I was super excited about it though, and also like the Kraken going on there. Is it?
He's hunting for a sex meal.
I was about to say it looks like he's got some calamari going on.
Oh yeah,
So super incredible. And what? This is the second Maui skin, right?
that's correct. Yep.
Okay, so that's really cool. So we will be hopping in game for this in just a moment.
Oh yes.
We gotta get him. We gotta give him some second to brush up and set up. You know.
Gotta
so,
do his thing.
But so why? You know, I need you to get into this now because I feel like people are curious. Why were you a doubter on this skin? Why would you doubt?
Well,
the
you
cat?
know, it's like there's so many different ways that Meowie Maui can go.
That's
you
true.
know,
There's lots of different kinds of cats.
There's lots of different types of cats. Cats are all different and unique in their own very beautiful ways. And I just like wasn't sure if the cute, cuddly Meowie would really like. I wasn't really, you know, he's swinging, he's doing all this like cool action stuff.
Hey.
Does that really fit?
He is swinging and doing cool action stuff.
This is the cool action Meowie that works.
Okay,
really
so
well.
nothing cool yet.
And you're right. I am seeing it now. Ooh. I love the look of that. Like it's so distinct from the original skin.
Yeah, definitely a little bit taken to a different like
Okay, so
design almost.
this skin is literally the
a little
normal
bit of a
skin,
different
but
vibe, but
it's
oh,
a
this is the
fucking
coolest
tiger.
ability by far. Look at this. Oh,
oh
it's
my
like a big old basket of fish.
yeah.
this one's not it for me, boys. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
top of
it's
the
just- I
island.
don't know.
Yeah.
They're
This
flopping.
isn't it.
They're
So
flopping around. That's
one's not it
actually
for me.
incredible.
This
so
is
cool.
boring.
And I remember when we were
This is so-
doing
hard
Maui's
snooze.
development and talking about what the top of the island would look like in
Yeah.
this ultimate. That we had some discussions on like, well, if we do it like this, then we get to do some really fun, unique stuff with the skins. And big shout out to the teams that made it happen because there was a little bit of extra effort.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys. I play on max settings, right? Like max everything.
Do something a little bit unique. and
Maui's
special,
2
but
does not
obviously
look like
super
that for me
fair.
in game.
It looks awesome.
Ever.
Unbelievably so. And
I can-
you
it
know,
never looks
to go
like that.
back on this whole Meowie
What the
Maui
fuck
thing,
is up with
like,
that?
The theming works so well because of all like.
Is it
there
the
was
skins
already
people
the,
use, or-
the fish ability? You know, tossing.
Is it if you-
the
if it's-
lure, right?
Yep.
And
It bugs
you know,
out?
all
Okay.
of the fish theming that this
My
game
shit
gets to
never. I
employ is
never
so
fucking see it look like
Yep.
that.
Big fan. 10 out of 10. Absolutely gonna be rocking it.
So
I'm sitting
again,
here, I'm like,
another one
why does it
available
look
through the
good?
Hope Reborn event. There is also one more skin that you won't be seeing today. You'll just have to check it out. And
Yeah, I usually don't see it at all. That actually makes sense.
Or wherever you get your Smite checking out done. But that will be Spectral Shifter the Morrigan. But we wanted y'all to be able to see that on your own. So check it out when you get the chance. The next thing we'll be
It's a
peering
bad
at,
skin.
however, is in Hope Reborn in the bonus patch. So this won't be coming
Should've given
out
him
next week. This will be in
cornflakes
the
for an
bonus
alt.
patch. But we wanted to show y'all.
Should have pulled up a bowl of
That's
cornflakes out of the
this
fucking
card
floor.
art.
That'd have been sick.
So cool.
Absolutely, like Vampire Medusa.
Like-
Vampire snake.
Can I just say
Vampire
that stained glass
snake.
is like OP?
It's so
that's,
cool.
That's true.
As an aesthetic, like stained glass is just like you can't lose when
You
you're
can't
talking
lose.
stained glass. Like it just adds an ambiance to like whatever it's a part of that is really hard to beat. And yeah, I think it.
If they don't show us the
absolutely
Camus skin, I feel like they're fucking
They're
trolling.
kind of like adjacent, you know, vampires and gorgons. They kind
Yep.
of both want to lure you
Bacon
in.
Beans
with
Baba,
a bit
and
of
that-
beauty,
that
a bit of
Camus skin
scariness at
is
the same
just
time,
a
and I kinda get
really
that vibe from her,
fucking
where
good
she's very
skin.
beautiful. But the
No
way that
gimmicks,
she's
just a good skin.
encouraging, you know, to come closer and look at her, I think I might be turned to stone, honestly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the fingernail's so long that it scares me.
I
you know?
respect it. I respect it. She's pulling a bow with that.
That's true.
That's
That is
true.
crazy to think
And not
about.
have broken a nail. That is
It looks
actually
like she doesn't miss
incredible.
very much based
No.
on.
I wonder if they
No.
don't pre-record
Well,
the
you're
skin
right,
showings
though.
and
A
they
lot
try to
of
do them live
process
every
is,
time.
you know, Gorgon's
And
turning
that's
to
why
stone,
they
a
struggle
vampire
with
will
this
suck
shit.
all of your blood out, and then you're just a dry, withered husk. I don't know.
Not too far off.
I'm just trying to draw lines in the sand here, one way or another, without making all the jokes that I want to make. The skin's incredible and I love it. And we're gonna move on to, and y'all saw a bit of this earlier. Oh man, we're gonna check out Baba Beans, Baba Yaga.
You know,
That's Baba Yaga.
with conviction.
Sorry, really from the
You know,
chest, I
sometimes like you just have those moments of clarity where you're doing something at work and you're like, isn't it crazy that this is my job? I wonder if whoever wrote available in the baked beans chest had that moment. Like, what does that mean? You know,
What
like
does that mean?
did they ever think that they'd be writing the baked beans chest? Like that is the funniest name for a chest we've ever used by
I think
far.
this is a Tina voice pack, and I bet
Oh,
Tina felt
100%.
the same way.
Oh, I bet Tina went wild. And I mean, y'all saw a lot of concept art if you watched the art show. Like, I remember seeing early stages of that chest art. This is the first time I'm seeing this art. But for the chest art, one of their options was like beans in a shoe.
Yeah.
And I was like, somebody got paid to be, beans, but in a tennis
Can
shoe.
we talk about the house then? Because
Yeah.
True.
I-
And it's undies.
Yeah, why does it have boxes?
Let's go in game while we talk about this. Let's look at this in game.
please. Oh, there it
We're
is.
in a baked
Holy
beans
Just
can.
fuck!
hanging
Why,
Did you
wait, it's
see
so
that the people
clean.
were like holding up money to the
Yeah,
to
they
the bean,
want her
like,
beans, man.
Yeah.
Imagine having baked beans so good that people are literally like throwing cash at you.
Well, that's not what you do.
No.
Her beans.
She's
Oh
throwing
my
beans.
God, this is so insane.
She's got the
We
This is a
didn't
really
ask
good
to-
skin.
To stop and
For
see
food
if
skin,
we-
it's
we
really
should.
good.
No,
No.
no one was like, "Is this actually the right idea?"
The
Everyone
visuals
was
look
like,
good on the
"Yes,
one."
We're doing
This
this.
was a bunch of people sitting in a room and being like, me and the other Smite
Visuals are
designers at 2
really
a.m.
good on this.
looking
It's
for
actually
beans.
obvious.
Yeah, bean
So-
time.
Have you seen I don't know how famous it is, but there was a gif of 4 Baba Yagas spelling out YOLO. That's how I feel right now looking at this skin.
They've not
Yes,
seen
I have
that.
not seen that. That sounds like an awesome gift.
Oh man.
Just
with the one.
it
But yeah.
Do we even have words here? I
No.
genuinely
No,
don't.
It's Bean Bayaga.
like I don't want it to seem like I don't love this skin.
No, we love
because I
this skin.
clearly
It's
love this skin.
Incredible.
But this is absurd, right? Like we can say that this is awesome and we love it and that people are gonna really like it, and that it's also crazy.
Oh no,
right?
it's,
We're allowed
it's
to say
cursed. It's
Okay.
so
I mean, it's Baba
incredibly
Yaga, right? It has to be a little bit crazy.
cursed. Yeah.
Put a can of beans on that odor.
Riding around in her bean can.
Sloshing around in the beans. You've never been up on like a Wednesday night at 4 a.m. just sloshing through the beans?
No,
Wow.
I gotta get myself a
Okay,
big old
can we look
bucket.
at this house really quick? Let's just take a look at some of the details here. It's got graffiti on it.
Right.
True.
The hands move around on the bean
Oh
side.
gosh, they do.
There's a little smoke coming out of it. This is the most
That's a bean
crazy
factory.
Baba house of all the Baba houses that we have, and we have like
It's
a
got a little
crazy.
face.
Oh my god, it's holding up its own body. What?
You see how nervous it was too? It was shifting away. It was.
Do you
a little
think that's
camera
a
shy.
giant bean with like hands?
I
don't
think
know.
it's a chicken.
It looks like a chicken because of the yellow.
It's got like
Those are the
chicken
yellow.
legs, right? That's like the lore of Baba Yaga, so I think it's like a chicken monster.
Oh. I was like, why is it a chicken? That is, I was so confused. Okay, if it's a lore reference, that's very
Yeah, it's a
very
lore
cool.
reference.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. That's very cool. I'm
The
about
artistic
that.
flair is obviously the underpants.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Nothing
sure
else.
that's a part of the
There's
lore
no
story.
better way to do it, I think. And the small details on the can as well
Yeah.
are also incredibly
Nutritional
funny. It's probably a
facts.
little bit hard to read here, but there's yum.
Yums.
A lot of yums.
Tears,
right?
salty.
Okay, yeah.
Magical fruit.
Legumes.
Tears,
Legume.
salty.
Yeah, 100% salty.
I admittedly, from this angle, from like the above angle, I thought that they were just artistic squiggles for the sake of it. Looks
there
no,
are words there.
as our team always does, actual filled out can. So
Made with beans
all
and
right,
love.
well you thought we peaked with Athena, but I think we've peaked here. So I can't wait for burgers and beans and hot dogs to just be throwing it down in arena.
This is a
Yeah,
solid
if you
skin.
thought the burger. Or
Maybe
like
they
the
just nerfed Baba
fried
Yaga. Maybe she got
burger,
buffed,
like,
actually.
Shin
Maybe the
Chan,
item
like,
changes will help.
Was going crazy. Like
Beans.
This is
This is
just-
next level.
It's next level.
It's doing it. It's built different.
It's absolutely beans. Well, super cool, and that's the last skin that we have to show off here, and a good one to end on, I think.
How could we ever follow that up?
Yeah,
you know?
as might have been mentioned, available in the baked beans chest.
Woo.
So
Yep.
if
Go
you're
get that baked beans chest.
baked,
Yep.
Tell all your friends to buy some baked beans.
Gotta go open a chest of the baked beans variety.
in Smite baked beans. Now that we've nailed that one in,
Yeah.
so real quick, before we move on to the final segment of our show, which I know a lot of y'all have been waiting
God.
for, looking at a new goddess, very quick quality of life update I'm excited to share. With the release of Chel, we figured, you know what, it's a little overdue? Updating the Maya Pantheon logo. So that will be happening with the next update as well. We figure Chel coming in.
I'm wondering if that canvas skin has no ability changes. Like, it's just standard ability, so it's boring.
So that will be
That'll be
updated as we
disappointing.
move into
It'll ruin the
this
skin.
new update next week.
Yep.
So cool quality of life stuff.
It's coming back.
without
You use
further
old HUD
ado,
or
we
new
have
HUD.
made it
Your
to
choice.
a new God release. Let's watch a little video before we dive into it.
There are many stories about Chel, and her faces are as myriad as the phases of the moon. Among some tribes, she is known as the Great End or the Red Rainbow. Among others, she of the Pale Face. But she is perhaps best known as the Lady of the Rainbows. Whatever her sobriquet, Chel is a goddess of facets. The moon is within her purview and fertility as well. She is associated with life and medicine.
Who's making babies?
But death walks in her shadow. All the colors of the rainbow are hers to command, but she weaves them into catastrophe for those who dare stand against her. She commands the storms to wash away those who anger her, but brings the rain to those who need it. But though her roles are many, she takes her responsibilities seriously. It is said that Chel was there at the beginning of the universe, and that her children, the Bacabs, took the form of jaguars to race to the edges of the world in order to hold it up. Chel herself often takes the form of a great jaguar to achieve her ends, such as when she fled her husband, the sun god, or made war on her enemies. With her spindle, she guides the motion of the universe, weaving together the formative elements of existence so that creation rises from destruction, and vice versa.
She's gonna raise
But
dead
now,
creeps into something.
that
Watch.
ancient cycle is under threat. The Pantheons are slow to confront the foe before them, and their petty rivalries and grievances endanger all that is. Thus it falls to Chel to paint a picture of hope and light the way to a new dawn, whatever the cost.
That new goddess, Chel. Super excited. We've actually, some of y'all, or a lot of y'all, hopefully, have seen some of this already, as we wanted to release some stuff early, you know? Y'all were able to see Chel at first when we kicked off the Season of Hope with the first update, and now that we've moved into our second update, we wanted to be able to give y'all a little more, and we enjoyed getting to tease some things early because we've been so excited about releasing this character, this excellent kit that was worked on, that we really couldn't help ourselves but to share some of this information. So without further ado, let's talk more about it with the designer. So Agro, what was the inspiration behind this?
Man, I mean, Chel has just been such a big community request for such a long time because she's a huge deal within the Maya Pantheon. You know, so many really big figures there, but Chel really stood out. And then when you get into the Chel lore, you know, this is only the second god that I've been the point designer on, and so for Maui, it was like very clear. It was like, here's the stuff that Maui did. Here's what he's known for. You know, it's very easily translatable.
Yeah, his lore was the epic stories.
Exactly. With Chel, it was like, she's the goddess of the following 75 things.
Yeah,
like, she is known
list.
for all of these things and is really important for all of them. And I'm like, we can't do that. Like, that is not really a possibility. And so this design process was really unique, at least for me, in that a lot of times we kind of have this very set idea of, like, with Maui, we knew we wanted him to use the hook and be athletic. You know, like that was the idea. With Chel, it was like, what should we do?
Yeah,
you know?
what's the
And
path?
so initially not having that clear, I'm clearly going to do this part of her lore, really was an interesting and really fun challenge, because normally it's come up with a couple kits within your band, but I had the opportunity to talk about, you know, here's a kit that's really focused on light, which is obviously the direction we went. Here's a kit that's more focused on medicine or like nature, and kind of contrasting those ideas. But I'm really happy. You go in knowing which kit is your favorite.
Of course.
The light weaving kit was absolutely my favorite because, we have Neith, who's a weaver goddess. Arachne is very close to weaving. But this idea of manipulating light and using that and kind of separating light out into their individual strands and then using those as your weapon was really, really interesting to me, and felt like it filled a unique niche that we hadn't had even among the other weaver goddesses or Ra, sunlight, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that we always knew it was going to be a little bit, it's kind of a hard band to really nail down of like, she's using these colors as ribbons of light that she's then, weaving through and weaving together. But I think it's a huge credit to the animation team and the effects team and the tech art team in order to really sell this character fantasy of you have all of these colors at your disposal and she is constantly in motion, just using all of these things in a different order every time, a different setup, but always having something to do. I think really, really paid off in a really fun, unique way. I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Well, from what little I've seen, that does appear to be the case, and I'm excited to share more. So as we continue to do new fun things on the show, Lermy, you want to take us in game?
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's the stuff right there. There she is.
There she
Chel.
is. Rainbow in the background.
Yeah, I mean, the modeling team just, I'm going to gush about all the different teams who worked on Chel because like I said before, like the designers work very, very hard on the gods that they're taking point on. Absolutely. It's it's months worth of work. It's a huge
so
focus.
Much work. Yeah.
But we definitely get too much credit for like, you did all of this. And I'm like,
true.
I didn't make Maui look awesome swinging on the hook. That was the animation team.
Yeah.
I didn't make Chel's effects look great. That was Shane on the effects team. Like, it takes so many people to really get involved and make sure that it's feeling the way it turns out. And I'm
little camera on the bottom
people during this for sure. But
well, they all deserve the credit, and let's show off their work. Lermy, let's see this kit in action.
Yeah, let her rip.
All right, here we go.
Your end is here.
Yay.
Yeah, I think that would have killed him.
Yeah, shout out to that combo, by the way. You almost look like you've done that before.
Yeah, well,
Only a couple
I've
times.
definitely gotten hit by that combo for sure.
A little gray screen simulator combo there.
Oh yeah.
So all right, well let's dive into it one step at a time. We got to start with the basics, and by that I mean basic attacks. So.
Not like Maui, where we pushed the envelope a little bit. Very standard.
Except for with the design. Look at those colors.
Well, yeah, of course. Visually, absolutely incredible. And I'm going to say his name a lot during this, but worked with Shane from the effects team on Maui.
Shout out to
Was lucky
Shane.
enough to work with him again for Chel. I think that he just continues to outdo himself. This was always going to be a very visually demanding kit. Mages usually are. It's a lot less physical animation,
Movement,
a lot more
yeah.
effects driven stuff.
Of course.
And he really stepped up and I think absolutely went crazy on this god.
If there's anything that I feel like I can comfortably say about my coworkers here, it's that they're constantly setting the bar, and then the next time around setting the bar again.
And surpassing it.
It's like
Yes.
it's like they're building a ladder, you know. Every
Something
time
like
it's just
that.
another bar higher up. So
Yep.
let's keep moving with the passive Rainbow Weaver.
Yeah, so we wanted Chel because she is this combination of two different goddesses, Goddess
Yeah.
I and Goddess O. And they have, Goddess I is much more benevolent, and that's where a lot of the medicine and healing and all that kind of stuff comes from. We
course.
wanted her to have some utility aspects
Yeah.
and some team play that is not just pure damage, but we wanted her to very clearly be a damaged mid laner.
Okay.
Kind of think Baron Samdi, but less utility, more damage.
More damage. Got it.
And so her passive is
mage with a range
the
knockup.
Rainbow Weaver. So every time she
What the
affects
fuck?
any god, whether it be herself, an ally, or an enemy,
Got it.
with an ability, she gains a stack, which is a color of the rainbow. And once you get to 6, which is the max number, you enter your passive state, which is this beautiful staff. Your passive icon is lit up, all that kind of stuff. And whenever you
That
have your
looks
passive
dope.
charged, your next basic attack will be wider, have no basic attack penalty, and deal bonus damage based on her magic power. So
is
it's
so
increased magical
rich.
power
Oh,
on that
Polly.
next basic attack.
Polly.
And
Polly,
this is
Polly,
a
Polly,
passive
Polly,
that,
Polly.
you know, we have a lot of mage passives that
Hey, you don't need all the
interact
pen
with
items
attacks like
anymore,
Agni and
Polly.
Wah,
Yeah.
but those are more
I guess you still need all the pen items.
centered around either in Agni's case, basic attacking and then using abilities, or in Nuwa's case, all using your basic attacks to set up for your abilities. I wanted this ability to feel, or this passive to feel like I'm combining all of my abilities
Her
in
rod
this
is sick.
unique way every single time, and then when I enter my passive state, I just get to fling out this really quick little burst of damage and keep going in my
Yeah.
combo. And it allows you to, it feels almost like an ability more than a passive. But I think that's a really fun design space to really explore are these passives that are really integrated throughout the kit, but then just have this one big burst effect, and then you feel like you've augmented what you did in a really, really fun way. And the basic
Yeah.
just feels so fun to use. The animation team, this little spin they came up with, I think is absolutely awesome. And whenever you get to just toss one of these, and then when we get to the ultimate, you'll see how it interacts there. But it's pretty easy to quickly gain a lot of these because, as Lermy's showing, by hitting 3 Odins with this ability, you gain 3 stacks. So a lot of times with these abilities, we limit you to 1.
Yeah.
But we really wanted you to get rewarded for those big hits where you get, I hit a big knock-up or whatever it is, getting close to that passive. And then how it interacts with whenever you help yourself or help allies, I think really adds to the idea of this endless options along your endless color spectrum of ways to use your kit.
In the rainbow tapestry that is her combos and such, seeing you weave together those abilities with those auto attacks, it's going to be so cool to see people take that and adapt their style around that. So really excited for that. So let's get into ability 1, which kind of has 2 parts here. Part 1 being Gleaming Blast, part 2 being Threads of Light. So let's start with Gleaming Blast.
Yeah, so Lerm, maybe we take off the no cooldown here to show this one. So the AO1, if you would just fire it and not hit the Odin, is just a very simple line skill shot. It is one of the lowest base damage abilities in the Mage class. It's basically, you can compare it to like a no corpse explosion.
Oh,
One
shit.
of the prettiest
From Opwash.
targeters.
Yeah, can we talk about this for a second? Oh my god.
Just, again,
That's
FX.
FX.
Going nuts.
Yeah.
Big
Shout out
praise
to y'all. So sorry. Anyway, continue.
No, by all means. But we have these abilities in the game that I really like. Abilities like Screech from Kamazox.
Yeah, of course.
That give you this very simple presentation of hit this very clear, easy to understand line ability, get something in return.
Yeah.
And I also think that something like Yamoja, where she has 2 different variations of the AO1,
Yeah.
that's super cool.
It is.
And we don't have that many instances of that. So kind of combining those 2 ideas, we came up with this Gleaming Blast into Threads of Light. So if you hit an enemy god with Gleaming Blast, your 1 switches to an entirely new ability and becomes this.
An amazing rainbow triangle.
The Threads of Light. This was Twitter. On Twitter.
We might have shown this one on Twitter a little bit.
It is one of the coolest looking abilities in the entire game, and the idea being that she separates the colors into each of the 6 that she uses, and they kind of spin together and then all blast at once. And
Why isn't she?
enemies in the point
one of the
there,
guns
you can
with it.
see in the triangle in the preview, enemies that are hit by all the beams where they converge take a little bit of bonus damage, but this is damage in that area.
Got it.
And then,
I think that's going to be difficult for some people, or a lot of people.
And Chel bot. Enemies that are facing the orbs when they detonate are blinded. I believe it's bot shoot 14.
I hope that I am in the right spot for this. We'll see.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, there we go.
So it is not raw blind exactly.
Yeah,
because
we
getting
raw
blinded,
blind,
boys.
Is incredibly long. It lasts for 5 seconds, but it just fades out over
It's
time.
going to be annoying.
We wanted to have something a little bit punchier, more like a, oh man, but then it's gone.
Yeah.
Didn't want to go with pure white light because we burned the retinas of all of our playtesters plenty of times.
Yeah.
Hopefully, workers' comp covers the eye surgeries we need from
Odin's
that.
going to need some glasses, probably.
Absolutely. But it really does achieve this really fun effect where it is not like Loki AO2 that, is kind of obfuscation more
Yeah,
than
like
a true
a partial blind. Yeah.
This is the second.
So you get blinded on both sides of it? What the fuck is the line there for?
To fully remove
Just the,
everything,
the bonus damage.
from your screen.
The tippy
It is
end
important to
is the
note there are
bonus
some
damage.
differences between this and raw blind in that you can still you keep your HUD elements.
Yeah.
That's something that, you know, gods made in 2012 are going to be different than gods made in 2023.
No. Impossible.
I think this is the better way to implement the blind so that it feels like you still have some option. But
Yeah.
Overall, I'm really happy that, you know, blinds have been getting
Taking a long time to go through these abilities. That's one ability they've covered.
Getting under blind. Shout out to my man F. Dot for every God brainstorm he was ever in with me. He pitched a blind for every single god,
one.
and I followed suit. And I'm happy to finally get one in here with Chel.
Aggro, hero of the people, champion of the people. I just
You say that until people get blinded and they hate it and they're like, why did they add another blind? And you realize why we've done 2 blinds over 10 years.
Yeah, fair enough. So,
Yeah.
well, cool. Let's keep the train rolling. Lunar Invocation. I think we saw this one a little earlier. Literally space and the moon, if I'm not incorrect here.
Yeah, so again, of the million things that Chel is associated with, she is very closely associated with the moon. That is very much a goddess eye aspect of it.
Cool. Oh my gosh.
And you know, we have a Willish in the same pantheon,
Yeah.
right? Who is an aspect of the moon, you know, moon goddess. And I was really thinking, like, it wouldn't make that much sense to not have any synergy with a Willish if she's in her pantheon using a moon ability.
Yeah, right?
She should be able to set up for a Willish, right? So
I hadn't even thought about it.
Yep, that was the whole idea behind this ability. So Chel places down a lunar summoning area, and it does nothing when you first deploy it. It fills to full. It goes from new moon to full moon,
Which is so
following the
cool.
crescent. Shout out to Ali from the animation team for making sure we were going the right way from right to left instead of left to right. And then once it detonates, it damages and knocks up enemies in the area.
Yeah.
And it will also heal any allies in the area. So
Okay.
that's where when we say things like affects an ally with an ability, you can see Chel places it underneath
Shit, you
her
can
feet.
build your
and Odin,
passive off of
she
healing your
gains 2
teammates.
passive stacks because she would
Yeah.
have healed herself and the Odin.
That's really cool.
It's not a huge heal. I would not she's going to be a lower tier healer in the assault tier list. She is not a tier 1 healer.
Not an afro.
No, not an Afro, Hell, or Raw.
Yeah.
But it is it's a small burst heal that is nice, but not a core factor. Using
Yeah.
it for the knockup is really, when you can, that's going to be your stronger option.
Yeah, if you're like setting up, prepping for a team fight, you need to top off some health pools. You got a few seconds, blow the heal. Why not? But
Yep.
if you're getting ready to contest fire, you want to have that up. You want to save
Exactly.
that for the offensive capability.
And she doesn't have a lot of defensive tools. This is one of her best defensive tools. If you're running away
I'm
and
running.
place it at your feet, if you place it at max range and continue to run, it will really like pop right as you get into it. Or if you place it kind of like halfway between you and max range, you can really get it so that you are in it as it explodes.
Yeah.
And if an assassin or a warrior is basic attacking you, it will
That's
knock
cool.
them up.
Yeah,
and
self
heal
peel.
you as you
That's a
kinda run.
really
Yeah.
good ability. I don't know the
Very
numbers on the damage, but
it-
outside of
it's a very
that,
good
that's a
self
good ability.
Yeah, they really have to make the choice. Like, do I follow, take the knock up, and keep trying? Do I completely back off?
Guys, you can scale down your the passive meter. It's
Awesome.
it's
So
the
what's
UI.
the
You can
third
customize everything.
ability Named Rainbow Crash.
Yeah, okay, so if she's a goddess of rainbows, right, and we're using a lot of light, she has to have a rainbow arc. Like
course.
that was just a non-negotiable for me from day one.
Oh, it's Discordia's ability, but with a
selecting
better
this kit.
animation.
So she lobs out this arcing rainbow projectile.
dope. That
which
looks
again
really cool.
Looks phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh,
It
man.
That's
damages and
a
roots
awesome
enemies,
visual
in that
ability.
area, and then spawns these orbs of light that pop out. One for each of the 6 colors of the rainbow that we're using.
Wait,
Yeah.
did she absorb that?
By the way, to get ahead of the 6 versus 7 colors of the rainbow, you know, Roy G. Biv and all that kind of stuff, that was a long internal debate. We feel comfortable with the rainbow is an infinite spectrum
Yeah.
of colors, right? There isn't one number of colors in the rainbow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And if we are going to be interacting with the colors of the rainbow as much as we wanted to in this kit, the passive stacks, you know, these orbs, the orbs on the BO1,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, it is so much easier for our it just felt so much cleaner and looked better with 6 versus 7. So I respect my man Roy G. Biv, I do. But we felt that this was the better direction.
Yeah, and like you said, take the color picker, click anywhere, like click any.
There's gonna be good combos out of this kit. This is a really good mage kit.
Yeah,
She has no mobility though.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
It
still
was
right?
the right
So-
decision for us artistically.
Yeah.
Anyways,
People are
the
gonna get
6 orbs
fucking
come out here,
destroyed
and
while
this is
playing
something
this.
a little bit different. So obviously, you know, you've got Discordia that kind of pops these orbs out from her one. But
Like,
those
think
are
about how often people
damaging
die on
for
Raw, and
These
she's gonna
orbs
be
do
easier to
no
kill than
damage
Raw, from what I'm seeing.
at all to
Yeah.
anyone. And enemies, in fact, Lermy, if you have Chel shoot her 3,
This isn't gonna make anyone run away. So we're good.
yeah, you're good. You can really barely see them
That's
because they
true.
don't matter to
They're
you
ghostly.
as an enemy. You don't have to interact with them. You won't absorb them, anything like that. It's for Chel and her allies because they gain movement speed.
Oh, if your allies or you eat those, you get movement speed, but they don't do any extra
Again,
damage or anything like
going for
Disco.
that utility identity. Yeah, all your Odins are.
I'm about to hit the deep 3 tricky.
They've, I think that. Oh, nice. There you go. Getting some of that utility and just tossing this out and having allies, you know, try and run to these orbs to grab them. It has been really
Dang,
fun.
okay.
Isha
Wait,
also
that's her-
gives
that's her
herself
self
movement speed
peel.
on cast, and then
Oh!
gets more movement speed.
She's
on picking
fast
up
as
an orb. So
fuck.
again, no traditional movement ability, but giving her some good self peel tools with.
Wait, she
being
didn't
able
even
to
pick one of those
200
up, right?
And giving
How
herself some
fucking
movement
did we
speed
rate on that shit?
with the AO3.
And you
Yeah.
can only ever pick up one orb, right? So you're not
Correct.
ever stealing
Oh,
orbs.
you can't pick
No,
up more than
you can
one.
al-
That's
if you've absorbed
imagine
one,
if you could
any
pick up a
further
ton
ones will
zoom.
pass right through you. So if you're right dead, you know, right there, dead in the center, you won't pick up a whole bunch of orbs all at once. Absorb them all.
it.
You'll just grab one and be on, and let your allies pick up the rest.
Yeah, well, man, not only is that ability so pretty watching all of those colors bounce around, but I like that all of the escape in this kit is built into how you utilize the other abilities. You know, it's
Yes.
very
Exactly.
utility based.
pretty
I think
short
that's really
speed
cool.
buff
Again,
buff.
I'm a huge fan of skill expression, watching people show off how they take a kit that could be perceived 100 different ways and kind of.
Yeah, she's definitely
ebb and
building
flow
Doomlord.
with what they think is best for their situation. It makes for some of the best watching and some of the best feeling for Smite play for me. So really excited to see so much potential in this kit.
And real quick,
And- oh,
because
man.
you're affecting an ally with an ability, if you pick up an orb or your ally picks up an orb, that's a passive stack.
Passive stack.
So again, ways to get your passive stack throughout the game by affecting your.
So her
allies.
one hits for 140 and
Well,
40%
ability
scaling, but then
called a
using it
rainbow-
again
rainbow crash,
hits for
really cool,
250 and
kinda
50% scaling.
faced by a rainbow.
So
Ooh,
her
daunting
one-
title for the ultimate great end.
Her one is 100%,
Gorgeous
99%
Another
scaling,
gorgeous
95%
one.
scaling.
So.
Yes, just 10 out of 10. Yeah,
See this
great
ult.
end. I knew that's what I wanted this ultimate to be called, regardless of what the ultimate ended up doing. Her name,
Oh, this ability's
in
nuts.
Some translations, you know, her various names that she would go by. Great
Yeah.
End was one of them, and like that is so.
Okay, this
cool.
ability, her ult is
So
fucking
sick.
crazy.
Come on. Great End is just so sick.
Yeah.
And this ultimate has been unbelievably fun to use.
Her
So
ult is a walking
you
Anubis
go
ult
up into this
that
channel, she's
increases
channeling this
damage done
intense
the more you hit on
rainbow
somebody.
Energy,
Yeah.
in that beam, it's a constantly ticking beam. You are freely able to move during this time, and I believe you do not have a backpedal penalty.
It looks
during
really
this time.
good too.
It also instantly charges your passive, and then there are two pretty unique ways to there are two pretty unique things that
Every time you hit, every tick of that
So
on
it
somebody, they take
obviously
5% more
damages
damage from
with
it.
each tick.
Yeah.
Up to 100% more damage.
That you hit, and if you're healing an ally, then Chel herself.
You
will
also heal.
And that's a missing health heal. So it's
You also
stronger
heal.
the lower your ally
Yeah.
is, or the lower that.
So you can hit your ally and
don't want
someone
it
else.
to feel like a free drain tool.
This is gonna
She's
be
healing
an
from
insane
damage,
ability
all
in
that kind of
teamfights.
stuff. It just ended up being really potent in the 1v1.
Yeah.
In order to get the heal for yourself, you have to be selfless and heal an ally. But if you normally just channel the ultimate, it lasts for 3 seconds, and this little time wheel around the edge right there, right in front of where she's channeling it, displays your time remaining
Yeah.
on the ultimate, which is very clear and looks great.
And very cool.
If you hit both an enemy and an ally with a tick, it doesn't count against your time, so to speak, allowing you to cast this for up to a maximum of 6 seconds. So you get to double your ultimate duration if you can line up your beam. It is not as easy as
Bro,
it
this
sounds
is
like
gonna
it
be a
might
higher skill ability to
does
get
end up,
max out of
you
it.
know, These ticks are pretty quick. They are a little bit slower than a noob assault.
So this
but
ability's
still pretty
damage
fast, but with
at
people
max
moving around
rank
and all
is
that kind of
50
stuff,
per tick
but it
and
allows you
with
to make these
7.5%
game
scaling.
changes what's happening.
If you
Yeah.
can
But
hit somebody 20 times,
have to
they take
get
100% more
how it's gonna
damage.
feel,
So at
how
max
it's gonna line
rank,
up, all that kind of stuff.
probably never gonna hit that much.
But
But
it's been really, really fun to use.
you're
It's
doing
been
a lot
one
of
my
damage.
favorite
It ticks every
ultimates for a
0.2
long
seconds for
time.
3 seconds.
And the other thing that we don't
So
typically
15
do, but I think
15
really fits
ticks,
well in this
right?
ultimate, is that subsequent hits normally we decrease.
It
their
increases
damage
damage.
the more you get hit by something. But if you were just if she was able to just death beam through a team fight and get big tick, and then the subsequent hits were littler ticks, that wouldn't feel very fair. It doesn't really feel the fantasy. Instead, hers are increasing.
I think that ult is gonna
along
one-shot
the
multiple
board.
people.
And so each tick that you hit is going to increase your damage by a little bit. If you miss some ticks, it will start counting back down. So you can kind of think of it as like a damage increase tracker.
Yeah.
And if you're hitting, and then you just like miss a couple, it'll slowly decay.
Back
and then if
down
you
and
start hitting
back
again,
up.
you
Her
can start
passive
screaming.
is an AoE
So
poly,
it really
basically.
rewards those players who are able to track really well, position really well. I mean, that is always a key factor in Mage gameplay.
The passive is
positioning.
40%. It is. It's an AoE poly.
This is me telling you, Mage players.
40% of your power has extra damage. So her with poly is also going to be crazy,
This
dude.
is good, right?
Just
You get
go
to-
and go and go
You
and
get to
go.
heal, you get to do more damage, you get to heal yourself, all that kind of stuff. Stand behind them. Put them in between you and the enemy, and you're going to find yourself a lot more
You'll be
success.
good to go. Yeah, an incredibly relatable.
She's
ability, too.
sick.
As a
This is a
lifelong gamer,
dope-ass
I find the
kit
longer I stand in the sun, the more
where
damage I
it's going to be
take.
higher
It's
skill, I
Big
think.
retweet.
Honestly,
Or you're gonna
very
die a lot.
realistic ability design. So, well, super cool. Yeah, I mean, we just went over a whole bunch of stuff. What a beautiful kit. I've been doing the update show for
Her
a long time,
total
and I've shut
kit's
off a lot of
damage
these
is high
incredible
as
gods,
fuck. Her
and,
one,
you know, Alice,
without
my baby.
scaling, is doing
But
400.
I have to give it to Chel.
Her 2 without scaling is
I
doing
have to give it to
300.
Chel, one of the
Her 3
prettiest
without scaling is doing
kits I have ever
240.
seen. I mean, the colors are just
And then her
so
ultimate
powerful.
without
They stand out so
scaling
much against,
and increased
you
tick
know, all the other
damage
colors
is
that we have in the
doing
background. It's unbelievable to look at.
what,
I've already
750?
shouted out a bunch, but one last shout out to Shane, the effects artist.
Shane.
I'm sorry
To
for
Shane.
every time he'd be like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I'd say,
But
"Make it
her
more
scaling is
colorful."
high.
I'm
Her
sorry.
one's total
I'm
scaling is
not-
95%.
Great feedback.
Her passive is
it was
40%
worth- yeah,
scaling.
I
Her
think it was
2
really
is
worth it.
70% scaling. Her
I
3
think
is
that her effects were
75% scaling.
incredible. Gotta give
And
a
her
shout out to
ultimate is
Maui,
7.5%
who was the
scaling,
animation point on this, the whole
increasing with the
animation team
percentage.
Just did an
Shout out to
unbelievable
and
job
ticks
because for
15
you know,
times.
For someone like Maui,
So it's
who's
100 and
very
what,
physical
80%
in
scaling
what he's
before
doing,
the
he's a
increase?
magical damage dealer.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's swinging, he's running, he's jumping into the air.
The one
For
cooldown
animated
is 6
mages, like, I
seconds.
feel like it's a little bit tougher, at least.
The
for
one's
me to
cooldown
get
is
that
6
direction, because
seconds?
Yeah.
The animation time is so short, and it's almost always projectiles or deployables, and so
What?
a lot of it is conveyed through effects. But they found a way to really integrate her personality and her feeling into these really small windows for animation, which is really hard to do. So, big shout out to the animation team.
Yeah,
I
this
think
is
they absolutely,
77.
were incredible. The tech art team, of course, Brian, the lead programmer on Chel, was the same programmer that I worked with for Maui. Was super happy to be working with him again on Chel. I think that he saved us numerous times on stuff for her. So big shout out to him and to Michaela KD on the QA
KD,
team
woo.
for
KD,
catching an
what?
unbelievable.
No,
amount
she's
of
gonna
things,
be
as she always
fucking doing
does,
so
and making
much
the process a whole
damage.
lot smoother. So, you know, tech art, animation, programming, concept, everyone from top to bottom. You know, I think that, like I said, designers.
I
we
think
do a
her
lot of work.
passive only builds on gods. So
We-
I don't know if
we
you'll
put
be
a
able
lot
to split
of ourselves
push
into these
with her
characters,
because you won't be
but
building the
it's
passive.
never anywhere close to just us.
Right?
So
Then they
that
say, or is it
helps you.
anything hit? Is it enemies hit
Yeah,
or
I mean,
is it
I
gods
get to
hit?
show off all of these things, but
Is
that is my job. There's an army of people who do an incredible amount of work. For
Yeah,
all of this
enemy
stuff,
god
and I
or
love
provides
Chel.
an
I'm
allied god or
always there
something.
for
Is
it,
it
so.
just god? So no, she won't be able to split push.
Excited. So as we do with God,
As
releases, we have
easily.
a couple variety skins to show.
If
off
you're
at the
sure,
beginning.
her pushing is gonna be
Light
nuts though.
Chel, going to be
Yes.
one right
Her
available.
regular pushing in a group is gonna be
Hello,
broken.
friends.
So cool. I mean, she's so in tune with nature, and you know.
I'm putting Polly in this fucking
Jaguars
kit.
in particular, a big part
Yeah.
of her lore.
Sitting
She's
on a
got
snake like a
the-
couch.
Yep, she's got the snake headdress there. She's often depicted with a snake on her head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you
having
can
this
self
jaguar
stack with the
pattern, you know,
the
she-
2 and the 3.
in the lore,
But
she
if you're
goes
on
for
yourself, it's not
jaguars
stacking
that
very
go to the
fast.
4 corners of the earth. and hold it up there. So having that, I think, is really.
They need to give her a good skin right away, because she's gonna be really
I also
fucking
love
fun to
the
play if you're
hair.
good with
I
her.
didn't say this in game, but she has the best hair. All right.
Yeah. So, and to clarify, because I've seen some people talking about it, the shape is because it is a clip that she is using there on the bottom in order to hold the hair in that shape. It isn't, just magically, which is well within our license, in my opinion, for her to have hair that can just magically hold itself as a goddess. But it is clipped in that way because it's a crescent of the moon.
For those of you who are looking for cosplay opportunities, there's a clip. You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
You don't need to learn magic. So next up, we have the Ascended Chel skin, part of the Year 10 pass.
This art is just.
That is
She's scary.
dominating.
Great end,
Are those
indeed.
people on fire?
Well, if they
Hey.
are, they deserved it.
Yeah.
Because she is the judge, jury, and executioner. Yeah, I mean, come on. This color
Even
palette
more
is
rainbow.
just so good.
How could we
This
do
is
a rainbow
like
goddess with a
basically
rainbow
the same.
skin,
Yeah,
do it.
you could not have not done that. Sorry. Man, that is so great looking.
Yeah, it looks absolutely awesome.
Again, I'm just a fan of vibrant colors,
Hard to not
and
be.
absolutely excited for it. Let's check out the card art too. Just the plain old the default.
Oh,
I say plain.
this
but
is
not
so
at all.
wonderful too. I just love all the little details, especially with all the background details. Like she has so many little priestesses just hanging out.
Yeah, and
doing their stuff.
what a contrast too, because I think that's an important character tidbit as well. The fact that she kind of pivots between rainbows, the power of healing, somebody who brings a sunshiny day and rainbows in the sky, to being the great end, to be like the rainbows equally have the power to destroy you and everything you stand for if it's not just. So absolutely incredible. And we also have some masteries we can see here too.
Oh yeah.
In Mayan mythology, rainbows were sometimes not they weren't the fun, happy, oh great, it's a rainbow. It was like it was a threat.
It's a rainbow.
It was
no.
this is a bad omen of like this.
That's weird. They didn't have the Jaguars in the kit at all, right?
Really playing up that idea, I think was really fun.
I can imagine. And yeah, now we get to see the masteries too. So super exciting. And while we're looking at the masteries, time for me to call attention to something. When Martikaros came out, we kind of did a little impromptu race to diamond thing just for fun. We just thought it would be cool. And there were some people that really took to that. Y'all, turns out Lermy is not the only person who guns for diamond right away. We have some really excited people who love to get in and get their hands on these new gods and really get the kit filled out, get their wins, and get that diamond skin as quick as possible. So we're bringing back the race to diamond with Chel. Except a little more formal this time. We wanted to give y'all a heads up instead of just dropping it for fun. So when Chel releases next week, we will be having a race to diamond. There will be more information on our socials, so keep your eyes on that, like Twitter and such. But there will
If she's super fun, I should grind diamond on her right away.
Diamond. Again, all of the specifics will be in Twitter, so keep your eye out for that. But we will be doing a race to diamond, so prepare yourself, prepare the snacks, take a day off, and get ready.
Good luck.
You're
You're gonna need it.
Yeah,
You are gonna
you
need
taking
it.
Tuesday off this time so you don't lose?
I don't take Tuesday off, and I got on the Marty list. So
That's true. No, Lermy is an unprecedented
Fierce
grinder.
competitor right there.
For sure. Good luck.
Awesome. Well, that does it. What a beautiful update show, literally, because of Chel.
Yes.
So super excited for all of that, for the balance, with some spicy stuff there.
Okay.
For G.I.
Patch
Joe,
notes, or this
with
patch
the new
drops
HUD
next
coming
Tuesday.
back. So to end it, I got a few things I got to say first. One, PTS, you'll know it, you'll love it. There's so much stuff we want y'all to
Is
test
it Friday
out,
or
with the HUD
tomorrow?
coming back,
Or today,
new
sorry.
goddess. We have all the stuff we want y'all to get in and get your hands on. So PTS will be actually happening, pretty sure today, actually. For PC, though. For console, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow.
Let's
but
go! I get to have fun tonight and get to test out
so
Tanky with
that'll
Hingstar.
happen, and make sure to give us all